It's filling up Old Trafford, but it will not be full. I'm just looking at the upper tier of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, particularly in the corners. It's very sparsely populated. Anyway, the two teams. First of all, Manchester United. The goalkeeper is De Gea. The defence is Valencia, Jones, Smalling and Shaw. Then in midfield, Fred, Matic and Fellaini. Then up front, Lingard, Rashford and Martial. And if you're wondering, Pogba and Lukaku and Mata are all on the bench. Young boys' goalkeeper is Van Bommels. Their defence from right to left, Mbabu, who used to play at Newcastle, he had 4 years there, Camara, Von Bergen and Benito. Then Lawford, who has been playing in the central defence but is a defensive midfield player tonight. Then four ahead of him from right to left, Soleimani, Aibashir, So and Asali, and up front the lone striker in Sami. So it's United who will kick off defending the Stretford end in this first half, and I think every United fan who's bothered to turn up, and this commentary team certainly wants them to start with intensity and show some attacking flair. The referee is just waiting to get the signal from television that he can blow his whistle. He can now, and we're underway. The referee, by the way, is one of Europe's best, Felix Brick, the German who took the Champions League final in 2017. Now, Fellaini has started on the right side, and you know he's a tall figure. They aim a lot of aerial balls at the Belgian, but I'm looking at a lot of tall players in the young boys' ranks. At least two of them look about 6'6" to me. Fellaini wins the ball in the air this time, but he heads it straight out of play on this near side.
Yeah, and Jose Mourinho talking the last couple of days, he's saying he doesn't tell his teams to start slow. The importance of a quick start. It's this young boys team.
There's Fellaini losing the ball just outside the young boys penalty area. It's cleared to the halfway line. Shaw, who was suspended domestically for the game against Palace at the weekend, he resumes at left back. He started every Champions League game for United this season. Now it's Jones. Jones plays it to the left hand side, and it's knocked forward by Matic, headed on by Rashford, but didn't find his target, and the ball's back with the young boys goalkeeper Von Bommels. It's back to him again from Benito, and this time he clears it left-footed, doesn't quite reach the halfway line, but it's headed on by Insami. Insami again brings the ball down from his chest, but the referee decided that he handled that.
Yeah, I think he did.
Didn't look that obvious from my perspective, but he didn't protest too much. Free kick awarded. If United don't start with intensity, the man on the edge of the technical area, Mourinho, should be screaming at them.
Yep, I think he's worried about the start.
The ball broke forward, but Lingard is offside.
You can't get away from the fact, Alan, that this season it just hasn't been good enough. And if, in previous years, young boys coming in a European competition to Old Trafford would be thinking this is a foregone conclusion before it started. But you have to give young boys a chance. I think United will win the game, but it's not going to be a shock if young boys do get a result.
Well, I mentioned earlier I'd been in the vicinity of Macclesfield or its environments for 36 years. I've been coming to Old Trafford for 36 years, and I can't remember a duller period of United football than the last 2 to 3 years, although to be fair, Van Gaal was also guilty of that. Scorelines elsewhere in the Championship: Rotherham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. In League 1 it's Oxford 2, Rochdale 0. And in League 2, Bury 1, Cheltenham 0. Swindon 2, Stevenage 1. Newport 1, Northampton 1. And Yeovil 0, Port Vale 1. We've got reporters at the League Cup tie between Leicester and Southampton, and also in the Championship game, Hull against the leaders Norwich. We'll be bringing you reports from there. Now it's a free kick to Manchester United in their red shirts, black shorts and red socks. It's towards this near right-hand touchline. Fred takes it left-footed, high into the penalty area. It's headed down. There's an opportunity for a shot on the edge of the penalty area, but it wasn't played, and now young boys look to counter-attack. The referee did in the end. I know he was looking to see if there was much advantage in allowing play to continue, there wasn't, and there clearly been a foul on a Young Boys defender, and it's a free kick to them.
Even the free kick from Fred just floated to the back post, no real conviction. And we see players whip those balls in and get someone on the end of it.
Free kick rather squandered by the Swiss goalkeeper. It's out of play in this near side of the field, so it's a throw into Manchester United. And Valencia takes it, chested down by Fellaini, and then Fellaini, it was Rashford who was shrugged off the ball, and it's knocked forward now. Here's an opportunity for Manchester United, breakthrough, and the shot's over the crossbar. What a waste!
What a chance.
Rashford.
So much pace. He did well to get there. Mourinho shake of the head in his technical area. He had time to look up. His one-on-one. He's got the legs on Von Bergen, I think it is. He's a couple of yards, takes a touch. The keeper comes out and he tries to lift it over him, and he does lift it over him, but it goes agonisingly over the bar. United should be one up.
I mean, the goalkeeper actually made it slightly easier for Rashford because he went down on his knees.
Yeah, I think
so he got a chip.
He had the option as well of going around him. I mean, he could have virtually done anything. Scored more goals for England this season, Marcus Rashford, and United.
Sheffield United have taken the lead at Brentford. They're now 2-1 up. And in League One, Accrington 1, Wickham 0, and Sunderland 1, Barnsley 0. United on the attack. They should be 1 up, but they're not. Here's Fred though, just outside the penalty area, shoots, and again it's over the crossbar.
That was a good strike from Fred. Too much time. 24 yards out on the left-hand side of the box. Takes a touch and then hammers it with his left foot. And he's not far away, just rising over the crossbar. It's a decent strike. Not sure the keeper's getting to that, Alan.
The way they've lined up United, Matic and Fred are the two holding players in midfield. Fellaini slightly ahead of them in a 3. And it's Rashford who's furthest forward, but he squandered his chance. Now, Young Boys on the attack. Ball played in from the right flank, cleared on the volley, and it's to the left of the penalty area with Shaw. Shaw's clearance, not emphatic, but United should get the ball away. No, they don't. Young Boys win it back, and they've committed lots of players inside the United half. That's way to the left towards the Stretford end. The ball is played back to the goalkeeper. Out to the far side, and now it's run forward by Camara. Camara hits it too long, that's beyond Insami, and it's through to De Gea.
Yeah, they're going to miss Young Boys. Poirot, talismanic figure up front. I think he's a big miss. Sonogo in the middle of the park. So they've had to make a couple of changes. They do have pace up top in Insami.
Remarkably, they're 14 points clear in the Swiss League after just 15 games. United on the attack. Fellaini's onside inside the penalty, pulls it back, takes a deflection off the defender, and the goalkeeper wasn't surprised by it. He did well.
Fellaini just drifting. They're in behind that Young Boys back line.
It's Asali on the near side. He's brought down by Valencia. It's a free kick to Young Boys of Bern. Applause from Jose Mourinho. Encouragement aimed at Rashford. Then when Rashford missed the opportunity, he was shaking his head and looking to the floor. Oh my goodness, how did he not take that? Now here's Smalling. Smalling loses the ball just outside his penalty area. It's hooked in, back deep. Look how many players they've got committed in attack. 7 players upfield for Young Boys of Bern. That was a cross aimed to the near post. Not great, but the clearance ran straight to Camara. Camara comes forward again. Look, he's a central defender. He's halfway inside the United half. Now on the near side, Asali cutting in towards the penalty area. Shot, claims it took a deflection. Referee thinks about it, and it did. Corner.
Just driving inside. Fred off the left-hand side, right-footed shot. United will have to be switched on. Young Boys, you know where the back of the net is this season. Plenty
quick.
Of goals, yep.
So here is the corner for Young Boys of Bern in front of the Stretford end. It's going to be taken by Soleimani. And Soleimani drives it in left-footed to the near post, headed away, dropping towards Soleimani again, but it's cleared by Rashford upfield. Lingard chases after it, ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in to Manchester United. Lingard takes it, Rashford had sprinted up from defence. He's now furthest forward of the United players. Fred to Lingard. He's got Martial on the far side, and it's going towards the left. First of all, it's with Shaw. In to Lingard again. Oh, Lingard loses possession far too easily. Young boys on the attack here, but that was a squandered opportunity. The ball is back with United, played carefully away by De Gea.
Yeah, it's ball from Sal. 2-on-2 they were. Sloppy from Lingard in the middle of the park. And the young boys, it's an opportunity. Poor execution, wasn't it, of the pass in the end?
Fred back to Smalling, and now Valencia into Fred once more. I mean, Valencia was hammered recently by his manager in terms of very public criticism.
Well, in fairness, he doesn't leave anybody out, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's going to hit all of them, not just one or two of them. But then perhaps they need more encouragement. Well, they're on the attack here. Fellaini edge of the penalty area. He squirts the pass through, thinking he's going to find a colleague. He doesn't, and it's back to the goalkeeper. Sunderland are now 2-0 up at home to Barnsley in League One. Here's Van Bergen, the young boys' captain, who looks slightly on the old side, losing a bit of hair.
Well, in that foot race with Rashford, that's an area where United can really exploit. Van Bergen, 35 years of age, 50 Swiss caps.
Here's Shaw on the far side of the field, into Matic on the halfway line, and Matic drills it left-footed towards the right flank, towards Valencia. Fred is in field, it goes to Fred, back to Matic, and Matic swings the pass to the left-hand side now. And now, can they get the ball into the penalty area? They can, but Martial tackled in the end. The ball's just run out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Manchester United, level over the edge of the young boys' penalty area.
You see Lingard coming in off the right-hand side in that forward area. Martial's the one who's hanging out on the left, getting the ball to feet and attacking Barbu right back.
11 minutes gone, still 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Lyon and Manchester City also 0-0. Young boys have the ball on the left side. It's playing in field. Well, surely Lingard took him out there, right in front of the assistant. He didn't see anything wrong. Ball is forward now, and it's with Rashford. Rashford crosses into the penalty area. Fellaini was there. He always is when the ball's high in the air, but it was headed away by Van Bergen. We will go to Lyon shortly, but it's still 0-0 there. Just confirmation of that. Here's Rashford. Rashford chips the ball between two defenders. He's inside the penalty area, but he runs out of control, and it's cleared upfield towards Insami. One back by Smalling for United, to Valencia, into Fred, and back to Matic, and now it's with Jones in the centre circle on the halfway line. Quick pass to the left to Shaw, onto Fellaini, who's probably had as many touches as any United player so far. Played in once more in the direction of Fellaini, but well to his left, and it trundled behind for a goal kick. Were you a little surprised, Chris, that Fellaini's playing quite so far forward?
I think that's where he was at his best at Everton, wasn't he? Just off the front. It's a surprise that he's left his big hitters out, Lukaku and Pogba, the two big money signings. And they're not going to be happy, are they?
No, they both look thoroughly miserable in the camera shots we've just seen of them. And it's not as if they're shooting themselves from the cold. It's actually quite a mild evening. Now, young boys on the attack, ball played into the penalty area. Sally's offside, and it's a free kick to Manchester United.
Yeah, it's half an opportunity there for the young boys breaking in. That's twice. Penalised, I think, the handball.
The noise you're hearing, by the way, is from the young boys' fans, magnificently attired in yellow tops, standing up, applauding, singing. The rest of Old Trafford is relatively quiet. Matic hits a long ball to the near side of the field. 0-0 here with 13.5 minutes gone. Let's head off to Leon and John Southall.
Same scoreline, Leon 0, Manchester City 0. A really good start to the game. Memphis Depay for Leon has just had a great chance, 6 yards out, had to score, miscontrolled it, chance was gone. Other end, David Silva, 15 yards out, shot straight at Lopez. And we said you can never second guess Pep Guardiola, playing 3 at the back tonight, City, 0-0.
United had an opportunity there. Rashford into the penalty area, but he shot straight at the goalkeeper. In the Champions League, Bayern have taken the lead against Benfica. It's 1-0 in Munich. Bayern, courtesy of the earlier game in that group, need only a draw to go through. In League One in England, it's Portsmouth 1, Walsall 0, Burton 1, Charlton 0, and in League 2, Bury 1, Cheltenham 1, and Forest Green 0, Colchester 1. Reminding you that if you press the red button on your television set, not only will you get the 5 live commentary, but you also get the final score graphics and the video printer. So you'll keep across everything that's happening tonight in football. Meantime, Manchester United, quarter of an hour gone, had 2 good opportunities, Rashford.
Yeah, that was another decent opportunity. Not as easy as his first one. Good ball from Fellaini to Rashford inside the box on his weaker left foot. 16, 18 yards on the angle, just drove it straight at the goalkeeper.
Now Martial down the United left, onto his right foot, curls the cross in, headed away none too convincingly by Camera, but he's helped out by a fellow defender and is cleared to the halfway line. They move as a unit, don't they, young boys? It's a bit like they're 3,000 pounds. Look at them all dancing now. But, you know, when they defend in number, and when they get an opportunity to attack, they go forward in numbers.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're a 4-5-1 out of possession, trying to make it difficult for United.
Oh, Shaw caught a possession on the far side of the field, but he's helped out there by Jones, who was caught. He gets to his feet quickly. Meantime, United have plenty of players in attacking positions, but Martial, rather greedy. He had players he could have played the ball to. Finally gets it through to Fellaini. Back to Fred. Fred on his left foot. Through. Is there an offside flag? It is. Anyway, the goalkeeper made the save.
Well, I thought the first one was close when Martial got him down the left-hand side. I don't mind him taking defenders on there. 1v1. Well defended by Camera. That situation as Fred just probes the ball through from a central area. Martial. It's a good line from young boys. He's a yard or 2 offside.
This scoreline helps Manchester City. Hoffenheim 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. And in League One, Luton have taken the lead against Bradford 1-0. And Newport are now 2-1 up on Northampton in League 2. A lot of games around the country and around Europe this evening. And don't forget tomorrow night, the commentary in 5 Live. Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool. Young boys with a throw-in inside the United half, rather squandered. Shaw cleared it to Matic. Now it's back to Jones, and Jones to De Gea.
I think young boys have got something to play for. I think everybody assumes, you know, they're the whipping boys in this group, but they can still finish third.
Yeah, and the Europa League does matter to them. I think scathing in my criticism of the
I understand
trophy,
that. But I think it matters to United, though, doesn't it?
I don't know. We'll see.
I did when they won it.
Yes, when they won it. Right. Shaw looking to play a 1-2. Shaw's now inside the penalty area. That's the Swiss penalty area. Still has the ball, though. He's surrounded by grey shirts. Turns it to his left. The cross was too high for Rashford. It's headed away by Benito, the left fullback. And now here we have Insami. Insami plays it back to Soleimani. Soleimani sweeps it forward towards the far side. And so to the right of the penalty area. Slips a pass in, and a colleague now runs the ball inside the United penalty area. And has he won a corner? No, he hasn't. Goal kick.
Abisha bursting into the box right hand side, gets to the byline. It's well defended from United, but you can see they're a danger on the break, young boys.
It's quite an open game, isn't it? Nothing conservative about it. United aren't great, but they've had chances. Ball played forward, looking for another one. Played towards Lingard, but out comes the goalkeeper swiftly off his line.
Well, I don't think we could accuse United of a slow start. You know, it's been okay. Big chance for Rashford early on. Mourinho expecting him to take that. It's not been blistering, but it's been okay from United.
what we haven't had so far is a united roar. You know, the crowd basically are sitting on their backsides and saying, come on, you get us to our feet.
And I think they're entitled to think that. The players need to entertain these fans. I haven't seen it enough this season.
Rashford to Martial, and then Rashford runs forward again. He's tackled, the ball goes behind for a Manchester United corner.
Yeah, most of the good work has come on that left-hand side.
So Shaw will take the corner. Smalling is up for defence. Jones hangs back with Valencia. Fellaini obviously makes his run into the penalty. It's played deep towards Fellaini. Fellaini does get his head to the ball and just heads it wide. Goal kick. Of course, he immediately appealed for a corner again.
Well, they've got two officials, haven't they?
You don't count the ones on the goal line. I mean, honest to goodness.
I know what you
They're
mean.
models. That's all they are. And handsomely paid.
They get dressed up for a night out.
Oh yeah. I hope he's wearing his thermals because he won't be doing much running. Hoffenheim 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 2 goals a minute there in Germany. Again, it suits Manchester City. League 1, Oxford 2, Rochdale 1. A goal back for Rochdale. Luton now 2-0 up against Bradford. Sunderland 3-0 up against Barnsley. It's Burton 1, Charlton 1. In League 2, Grimsby 1, Tranmere 1. Grimsby's with the equaliser there. Newport 3, Northampton 1. And Port Vale are now 2-0 up away to Yeovil. Still 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Shaw breaks into the penalty area, but the flag was up for offside against the man who put him through. That was Martial, and it's a free kick to Young Boys of Bern.
Raking switch of play. That link up has been encouraging, I think. Shaw, Martial, lovely touch from Shaw on that left-hand byline. He feeds the ball to Martial, who in fact wasn't offside. The assistant got that one wrong.
It's astonishing, really, that United have yet to score in the Champions League here this season.
Well, it is. And what 3 wins in 9 home games this season? It's unthinkable.
Matic has a really good ball. Struck left-footed towards this right flank, towards Valencia. Infield, the pass goes to Fred. Couple of step forwards by Fred. And then he squeezes the pass forward. Fellaini with a nice touch. Wide towards Martial on the left flank. Crosses the ball right-footed. It's inside the penalty area. Lingard is there, trying to tame a shot from Matic. And now, Matic lost the ball. And Young Boys counter-attack. Goodness, Shaw pulled at a Young Boys player there. I wonder if the referee noticed that. We'll talk to him later. The attack rather breaks down.
Well, I agree, and I wonder whether he's going to book Luke Shaw. I think he is. Gone to his pocket.
Yeah.
Asali, real pace, breaking out ahead of Luke Shaw, who pulled him.
Did he get the right
shoulder?
Did he book Shaw or did he book Matic?
It's an interesting one. I think
it was definitely Shaw who was guilty.
Yep, it was, but I think Matic was protesting, wasn't he?
Anyway, it's now a throw-in on the far side of the field. Still 0-0 here after 22 minutes at Old Trafford.
He may have booked Matic for the challenge on the edge of the area, actually, initially.
Throw-in goes to Insami. Insami playing it back. And, they've got most of their players over the halfway line. But the ball's now back in the Young Boys half with the captain, Von Bergen. Neatly played on this left flank. And now we've got a run forward by Soleimani. Soleimani on his left foot. Crosses deep. Headed away by Shaw. Dropping just outside the penalty area to So controls it. Keeps possession with the Swiss side. And now Camara, the central defender. He's halfway inside the United half. Playing it towards the right side to Mbabu, the former Newcastle player. They're passing the ball around convincingly until just as I said that, it's a loose pass, but it's given away by Manchester United, given back to them.
It was Fred.
Groans from United fans.
You just sense they're growing, don't you, Young Boys? Just easing themselves in to this game. I don't think that anybody has to fear United this season. And it's their supporters making the noise.
Just confirmation that the yellow card was given to Matic.
he clattered in. Or was it Von Bergen on the edge of the box? He clattered into him.
What's wrong with the referee's gear? He's dropped one of his boxes from his back, Felix Brick, and it's being reattached by the goal line official. So there is a role for them. If your equipment goes loose, they'll fix it for you. Wonder what Mourinho's thinking. You know, midway through the first half, opportunities not taken, still 0-0.
Well, he's probably thinking this is the usual,
which isn't really good enough. Here's Insami loses the ball deep inside the United half, and United now bring it forward. Then there's a foul committed by Mbabu. It's a free kick. Not sure he's going to be booked for it. No, just a ticking off by the German referee. Don't do it again. And Shaw's protesting. I thought Shaw was lucky to get away with his challenge a couple of minutes ago. Anyway, the free kick is United's, and it's taken Spencer Smalling and quickly on. And now we've got Lingard. Oh, woeful pass in towards Rashford. Far too far ahead of him. Goes behind for a goal kick.
It was poor defending. It was Benito, the left back of Young Boys, and Lingard gets away and the right-hand channel, gets his head up, and Rashford had made a run. It's just that final ball. I don't know whether it was really on, but he got it wrong by a long way. Just passed it out into touch behind the goal.
You're listening to 5 Live on the BBC. 0-0 at Old Trafford, 0-0 in Lyon, where Manchester City are playing tonight in the Champions League. Now Matic in the centre circle to Fred back to Jones on the edge of the centre circle, exchanges passes with Matic, then plays it quickly onto the left back Shaw into Martial. Shaw once more, and Matic passes, but where's the progression? Now Smalling knocks it forward, flicked on by Lingard, shot driven in wide by Rashford. He might have had a hat trick by now.
But that all came from a really crisp pass from Chris Smalling, and Rashford, 25 yards out on the half turn, takes a touch. He's not far away, powers the ball just past that right hand post. There's a lovely touch from Lingard into Marcus Rashford. He's got one thing on his mind, and that's inches wide of that right hand post.
In League One, Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 0, Luton 3, Bradford 0. And let's get an update from Leon, John Southall.
Well, it's Lyon 0, Manchester City 0. Lyon, we've seen Memphis Depay miss a sitter. We've seen him try a free kick from 30 yards, ambitious, predictably wide. 2 efforts from Mahrez for City. The first straight at Lopez, the goalie. The second deflected wide. But as it stands, Man City will qualify for the knockout phase, even if they lose, because Hoffenheim are trailing Shakhtar Donetsk by 2-1. 0-0 here.
Soleimani with a corner from the left for Young Boys. Headed away comfortably by Manchester United. Knocked back into their penalty area now. It's with Insami playing it wide. There's a cross swung in. Goodness gracious, that was a vital header away by Matic, and cleared further upfield towards Lingard. United still with the ball. Fellaini was clattered into. No need to... Oh, he's given the free kick. United were in possession. I thought he was just going to allow play to continue. It was a foul on Fellaini. In League 2, Grimsby 2, Tranmere 1, and Crewe 1, Cambridge 0. Lots of goals elsewhere, but we're waiting one here. Here's Smalling. It was a glorious pass from Smalling earlier, and Lingard adjudged to run back from an offside position by the referee. Hold on, what's going on?
Foul
here?
on Lingard. Benito.
Foul on Lingard.
Yeah, went in. Lingard off the right-hand side in that little pocket. Benito followed him in, and just a little tug of the shirt, and there's an opportunity now.
Fred needs to make a better delivery of the free kick from the Manchester United right side. Played in left-footed, hooked in toward. Oh goodness gracious! There's an opportunity. Oh, Matic offside. He tried to bring the ball under control.
But that was better delivery, wasn't it, from Fred? Yes. The one in the first couple of minutes floated in, conviction in that, whipped in left-footed. Just seeing he just goes slightly early, doesn't he, Matic? No need to.
Chris Sutton alongside me tonight in the commentary position here at Old Trafford for 5 Live. Manchester United 0, Young Boys of Bern 0. But United have had opportunities. Here's Benito, the left full back, in an advanced position for Young Boys, but he doesn't keep the ball in play, and it's going to be a throw-in for United, which was taken quicker than Fred perhaps wanted by Valencia, and they almost made a complete hash of that, but they keep it in play, Manchester United. And now Lingard shoots it away towards the far side, room for Shaw to run into, to move over the halfway line. He's got Martial to his left, he leaves it for Martial, back to Matic, Martial once more, Matic again. Red shirts, 5 of them, pressing against the back line of Young Boys. The ball's on the halfway line now, with Fred, into Matic, Shaw's down the left side, with room. The pass found him, Shaw crosses into the penalty, unconvincing clearance away by Camara. And then, as the shot was driven in, Camara got it in the chest, he's lying down in the penalty area, but the play has to continue. The shot driven in by Lingard takes a deflection, and it's behind for a corner.
Well, it's all happening there. And ball appeal from Lingard. I mean, he takes the shot. I'm not so sure he didn't have a case there. But Van Bergen, with his arms raised, Kamara just getting to his feet. Took one initially.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Was it just outside the box though, Van Bergen?
Just seeing it again.
I think he
was outside. He's got a corner in the Championship. Preston have taken the lead against Middlesbrough 1-0. Sunderland 3, Barnsley 1 now, and Bury lead Cheltenham 2-1. Corner to United, taken by Shaw towards the far post. The header down. Rashford is there, and Rashford adjudged to have been pushing, and it's a free kick to Young Boys of Bern.
I think it was Fellaini, wasn't it? Full muscle, brawn there, getting involved from the corner. Left-footed in swing, a little shove in the back.
Yeah, he did, yes. Fellaini was the guilty
shove. Well, I say a shove in the back, then a forearm in the back of the head.
Well, you know what you're going to get from Fellaini. I wonder would he have figured in a Sir Alex team?
Well, I don't think in a central midfield position would he. So, no.
0-0, quarter of an hour left before half-time. United on the attack. Ball played in. Lingard couldn't take it in his stride. Cleared towards the near side, towards Asali. Asali holds off a challenge of Valencia. He was caught by Valencia, and the referee waited to see if there was proper advantage, adjudged there wasn't, and gives the free kick.
You feel United need a goal. Obvious thing to say, but the longer this game goes on, they haven't been good at home this season. You sense this crowd, and it's not a full stadium, will become edgy.
Far from it. Look up in the top right-hand corner. Lots of empty red seats. 0-0, Manchester United and Young Boys. Now, he didn't mean to do it, but he actually controlled the ball with his hand, Valencia. But United squandered possession, and it's with Van Bergen. Van Bergen to Benito, the left back, and Benito sweeps it forward. They keep possession well here. And Sami and Asali helping out. And now, well, they're running forward, they're moving towards the penalty area, but they don't really have control of all Young Boys, and it squirts behind for a goal kick.
Here's Ibisha, the young midfielder, just took a heavy touch 25 yards out, tried to make amends. And there's a block tackle, goes out for United. Goal kick.
12 minutes to half-time. Goal kick to be taken by De Gea. He hasn't had a save to make yet, though, De Gea. Not that I can recall. Ball is back with Benito, the left full-back, for the Swiss team. And then Asali wins the throw-in. Benito's going to take it. Avisha was a target, but he didn't control the ball. Fred clips it forward. That's running kindly from Martial. Martial tried to cut inside the defender, lost control of the ball, and it went through to the goalkeeper.
Just a bit of uncertainty there from Martial. No real conviction.
Right, there's a Carabao Cup game tonight, remember, Leicester and Southampton. It's half-time there. Robin Kine.
It is 0-0, uneventful first half at the King Power. Leicester nearly took the lead right at the death. Vardy's cutback nearly poked into his own net by Jack Stevens. Southampton had looked tepid their best moment, a burst from a Leicester corner by teenager Michael Obafemi, who ran 50 yards unopposed but couldn't find the finish. Second half live on Sports Extra at half-time, though, is Leicester 0, Southampton 0.
And it's half-time, Hull against Norwich. Nicola McCarthy.
It is Hull 0, Norwich 0. It's been a fairly even first half here at a very wet Caycom Stadium. Both sides with their share of chances, although league leaders Norwich dominating the closing stages of the first 45. They've scored 4 in each of their last 3 games, but being held so far by second from bottom Hull 0-0 at the break.
Elsewhere, Bayern Munich are now 2-0 up against Benfica. So whatever their Bundesliga troubles, they're going through in the Champions League. And in League 2, Swindon 3, Stevenage 1. United dominating possession, dominating chances, but without a goal so far. A little over 10 minutes left in the first half. Jones has come up from defence. Jones leaves it for Fellaini. Wide it goes to Rashford. Rashford cutting in field, running into defenders. Ball breaks to Fred, and then Fellaini's touch was, can I say, woeful? It was a clearance.
It wasn't the easiest ball into Fellaini. Rashford just pulling out on that left-hand side, driving in so many bodies in and around that 18-yard box. The flag goes up. Just not happening again. Just wonder, the longer this half goes, they just seem to be, Alan, running out of ideas, United.
Chris, hold me in when I talk about the Belgian. I'm just not a fan. He shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. Really not good enough. Anyway, De Gea throws the ball out to Valencia, and Valencia sort of stops well before the halfway line. Passes forward to Lingard. Let's get an update in Lyon. John Southall.
Lyon 0, Manchester City 0, but another great chance for Lyon. Maxwell Cornet 8 yards out, looked certain to score. First touch was heavy, slipped with his second, and Laporte challenged him. Lyon 0, Man City 0.
Roars of disapproval from the Swiss fans, because they were certain that Soleimani was fouled not once but twice. I think the referee got it right. I think he was all right.
I'm just watching again. I think there's a tug on the left shoulder from Valencia, and that was in a good position. Just on the left-hand side of the box, and Valencia, he looked guilty.
Well, ball played forward to Lingard. Lingard controls it just to the left of the penalty area and knocks it back now. Whereas Fellaini's inside the penalty area, well, the pass forward was unconvincing. Young boys take the ball away, and they're on the counter-attack here. One decent pass. Oh, well, he held up the striker Asali, but Asali does control the ball. Asali knocks it forward, rebounds off a United player, still in Young Boys' possession, and that's a good ball into the penalty. Shot driven, goodness, took a deflection wide of the danger. Soleimani with an opportunity there.
Terrific defending from Chris Smalling. Soleimani, left-hand side of the box. On his left foot, Smalling threw his body on the line there. Fantastic block.
Rashford got away. He was caught there, but Rashford's fit enough to keep on going, approaching the penalty area. Czech suddenly surrounded by grey shirts. He still has possession. Swings the ball in unconvincingly. Von Bergen clears on the volley, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in.
He just took a knock there, Marcus Rashford. He's not moving well.
Throw-in goes to Fred. Fred back to Valencia. 8 minutes to half-time here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Young Boys 0. It's with Jones. Everybody bar De Gea is inside the Swiss half. Shaw to Martial on the left side. He always seems to want to cut it onto his right foot before he delivers across. It was a pass this time, back to Shaw. Matic, Martial once more, playing a 1-2, but then Martial's return pass not great, and it's cleared by Young Boys. Now, and Sami, short of the halfway line, just lays it back to Benito. The full-back Van Bergen's gone down. I'm sure the goalkeeper's going to knock it out of play. Yes, he does.
And I don't think, Alan, I may be wrong, often am wrong, but there was nobody around him when he went down. He was holding his left ankle.
Yeah, it looks as if they're going to have to make a change. Anyway, in the meantime, Bayern Munich are now 3-0 up at home to Benfica, and going through, just to confirm, to the knockout stages. Doncaster 1, Blackpool 0 in League One. So, is he going to recover?
I don't think so.
Well, he's on his feet, but he's coming towards this near touchline, hobbling very badly.
Well, the fact that nobody was around him is always a bad sign. His hand over his face, and it doesn't look like, I mean, he may well run it off. Doesn't look like he will to me.
Well, he's coming off. There's still over 6 minutes to go to half time, so it's not as if you can hold off making a substitution for that long. Laufer goes back into the central defensive role that he's held of late, but they're down to 10 men at the moment, young boys.
You see he's just pouring water over his ankle himself, Von Bergen, that well-known medical treatment.
Head upfield by the Swiss side, headed back by Smalling, and then Jones goes in. Well, he sort of barged into the Swiss player, but no free kick's been awarded.
Well, can United exploit this?
Well, effectively they're down to 9 men at the moment, young boys, and United are on the attack.
He's offside.
Fellaini offside.
Poor from Fellaini. It is poor
Woeful
from Fellaini. Doesn't need to be in an offside position. Playing in a centre forward role in that situation, but he drifts offside, and Von Bergen.
He's limped back on,
yeah.
but it's not convincing, is it? And now Saleh's on his feet, criticising the referee for not awarding him a free kick. He could have done better knowing that he wasn't getting the free kick, just getting up on his feet again and helping out his team. But he didn't. And now it's with his striking colleague Insami. Asali takes it up to the right of the United penalty area. Asali on his right foot, crosses, rebounds off a defender, back to Asali, and then he's given the ball away really carelessly. Now Rashford running down the left side. Lingard into the penalty area. Rashford into the penalty area too. Cuts under his right foot, plays it back. Oh, between two United players. Fred shoots wide.
It's good from Fred, but wasted opportunity. Brilliant from Rashford initially. Sat the defender down, chopped both ways, and it's just been Allen, that final ball. The opportunity was on just to pick a red shirt out, and he had time to, and the chance goes begging.
They could easily have scored 3 goals in this first half, United.
Yep.
You know, they've had chances equivalent to 3 goals.
Well, the Rashford one earlier on, early in the game,
chip,
was such a big opportunity, but then it's just been that final ball, that final decision.
Laufer is now dropped alongside Von Bergen. It's almost like a back 5 now. Hoffenheim 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 2. Hoffenheim revival in Germany. Remember, Manchester City are drawing 0-0 away to Lyon. 0-0 here at Old Trafford as well. 3.5 minutes left in the first half. Martial goes down, a dive.
And you called it earlier in the fact he always likes to come in on his right-hand side. The first time he's made Mbabu think, and he drifts past him. I think he should have had a free kick there. Martial, Mbabu cuts across him, checks him. That's better though from Martial. Make the defender think.
Goal kick to young boys. 42 minutes played at Old Trafford the first half. Smalling heads it down to Valencia. Valencia into Smalling again. Quickly on to Lingard, and then it's played by Smalling to Shaw. Shaw always encouraged to run over the halfway line. Gives the ball infield to Rashford. That's a good strike by Rashford to the right side to Valencia. Valencia's first touch wasn't great, and the ball goes out of play, and Valencia touched it last, so it's a throw into young boys.
Zansami matching Valencia with the run, coming together, but I think you called it. Lauper now has dropped in, so they're a back 3. I think they're protecting Von Bergen, who's not moving well. Just get to half time and we'll reassess.
And then reassess. Quite right. I think young boys have played quite well. They haven't created real danger, though, for De Gea to equal.
But and you just feel from their situation, United haven't taken their opportunities. Can the young boys be clinical?
Van Bergen heads the ball away, out of play. But they haven't shut up the whole half, the young boys fans. They've been great. Throw-in taken by United. Matic. 90 seconds plus added time remaining in the first half here at Old Trafford. Elsewhere, honestly, have you noticed any sustained cheering from United fans? Next to nothing. Maybe they raise their voices as an opportunity is squandered, but that's it.
But would you be happy with this season?
No, definitely not. Here's So on the halfway line to the right of the centre circle, plays it back to Lawfer. Lawfer exchanges passes with Camara, and then it's forward to So once more. And now on the far side of the field, it's Asali. Approaching half-time, 0-0. No great encouragement for United.
He's a danger, Asali is, with his pace, but he's one of those players, he gives you the ball when he's finished with it, doesn't he?
Here's Nsami. Nsami gets away from two United players. Plays it to Asali, but Asali loses it to Smalling. And now it's Valencia into Matic. Matic holds off a challenge, not once but twice. Gives it forward to Fred. Fred looking for Rashford. Rashford timed the run well. Rashford's onside. Rashford cutting into the penalty. Is this the moment United were waiting for? Not with a shot like that. Well wide of goal.
Wild, good run, well timed from Rashford, peels away on that right-hand side. I like him when he's driving at people, confident. Just that belief. And we talked about Lukaku being dropped in his drown. I think Rashford, I said earlier, scored 3 goals for England, only 2 for United. Lingard failed to score in his last 24 appearances for United.
2 minutes of added time. I'm wondering what Pogba was thinking. So was the television director. He just got up a shot of Pogba sitting wrapped up on the in the dugout, and Lukaku as well.
Well, I can tell you they won't be happy. They'll feel humiliated. Big players. This is a big game, Champions League night.
Good work by Lawfer. Not only holding off a couple of tackles from United players, but a good pass upfield towards Nsami. Maybe there's time for a really threatening attack by young boys. Here's Asali. Asali clips it to the left. Low ball into the penalty and a back heel wide of goal. That was an opportunity for So.
Well, So should have left it. I think was it Nsami behind him, 6 yards out with the tap in. Tried to be fancy So and flicked the ball that was behind him.
That was their best opportunity.
It was
the first half.
And just a little shout there. You see, I think Smalling drawn to the ball. That was a big opportunity for young boys.
What does Mourinho say at half-time? Well, his side have created chances, but haven't scored. Here's Martial inside left channel. Taps it on to the left side towards Shaw. Shaw with the first time cross takes a slight deflection. Benito heads it away out of his penalty area. We've almost had the 2 minutes of added time. It's back with Fred. Fred into Matic. 35 yards from goal. And now Jones. Jones chips the ball, and that's allowed to run. It was beyond Fellaini. Bounces twice and it's behind for a goal kick. I don't think Fellaini was all that happy with the effort from Jones there. The body language said less than a compliment.
I mean, Phil Jones trying a miracle pass there, wasn't he? Too straight, wasn't on.
Suspect as soon as this goal kick is taken, the referee will blow his whistle. It's been taken, and there is the whistle. And at half-time, it's 0-0. Well, what do you think?
Are we surprised, really? Rashford had the big chance early on, one-on-one, should have scored, gilt-edged opportunity. The longer the half has gone on, United seem to have just lacked a little bit of belief. And had the young boys been more clinical with that one opportunity they had at the end, they could have gone in front at half-time. But United, just looking at a stat, is it the first time in the club's history if they don't score tonight in European football? That is ominous.
Not good enough. 0-0.
Chris, every time Alan says Von Bergen, I'm trying to give us something to smile about. I think he says Ron Burgundy. I've absolutely got it in my head. Von Bergen, you're going to do it at home now, wherever you are in the car. You're going to go, Ron Burgundy's on the ball. He's all right, Ron. He's up and Adam, which is more than Manchester United are. It's self-belief, isn't it? It's just whatever there was at the beginning, drained away with Rashford's miss.
Yep, absolutely spot on. It was a big opportunity, wasn't it? Saw a shake of the head from his manager in the technical area, and then. But this is, are we sitting here? Are we surprised by this United performance? This is a typical United performance from this season. This team does lack belief. Absolutely. He doesn't know his best starting lineup. His star players on the bench, they can't get a game. It's not been good enough all season, so tonight doesn't surprise me.
Well, interestingly, Chris, enjoy your half-time cup of tea. Dave says, I suppose it's Jose's fault that Rashford missed that early sitter. Players have to look at themselves and answer if they're deserving of a United shirt. Not many would say yes if they were honest. Luke says, I think it's about time we dispelled with the myth that Rashford is a striker. Mike says, watching United tonight's also making me watch a manager deliberately and publicly dissing one of his players for missing a chance. His behaviour depresses me. It has no place at United. It is 0-0 here at half-time. John Southall, Lyon almost scored on the stroke of half-time.
Well, I don't know how they've scored in the first half. They've had some really good chances. Lyon 0, Manchester City 0. City not at their fluent best. They've looked disjointed. And as you say, they were wobbling towards the end of the half. An acrobatic volley scissor kick from Cornet struck the crossbar. But Lyon have also wasted two great chances. The first, Memphis Depay, 6 yards out. He had to score. Miscontrolled it. The ball got stuck under his foot and the chance was gone. The second, Cornet again, 8 yards out, unmarked, poor first touch, then he slipped. Laporte just did enough for him then to spoon it over the bar. He should have done a lot better. Pep Guardiola has played 3 at the back tonight for City. Walker, Stones and Laporte. Zinchenko's pushed into midfield. 3 shots from Mahrez. 2 have been saved by Lopez and 1 was deflected. City, well, they need to improve in the second half, and they haven't had a goalless game in the group stage of the Champions League in 46 matches. As it stands, though, it is Lyon 0, Manchester City 0.
And Ali Bruce Ball can tell us what's going on elsewhere in Europe tonight.
Hi, Mark. I'll start with the games in the groups that involve the Manchester clubs. Manchester United fans can be very thankful to the former Arsenal keeper Wojciech Szczesny at the Juventus Stadium. He has made an incredible close-range reflex block just before half-time from a Diakabi header for Valencia to keep that game at Juventus 0, Valencia 0, because if Manchester United continue to struggle and Valencia can actually get themselves a win away to Juventus, that would put Manchester United under a lot more pressure in the final game away to Valencia. Hoffenheim against Shakhtar has been a very entertaining first half in Manchester City's group. It's 2-2, 3 goals in the space of 4 minutes in the first half. Shakhtar raced into a 2-0 lead away from home. Hoffenheim immediately pegged them back. Andrej Kramaric, the Croatian, scoring again for them, and Zuba has scored just before half-time to make that 2-2. It doesn't really help either of them in terms of chasing Lyon. Manchester City still sitting pretty at the top of that group. Roma 0, Real Madrid 0. We already know that those two are through to the knockout stages in the Champions League. By the way, Antonio Conte is at the Stadio Olimpico watching that game. People talking about Real Madrid and the managerial position and who might get that in the future. That's an interesting one. Real Madrid have not played all that well and their goal has led a pretty charmed life. Koenigsunda for Roma just before half-time has missed one of the easiest chances you will ever see. So there was the Matt Ritchie one last night. I think this one is worse. Ball played across the face of the...
Matt Ritchie.
I promise you.
He must be inside the goal to have missed that.
Well, pretty much. He is 2 yards from goal. The ball is played across from the left-hand side. The keeper is scrambling across his goal line. He has got half of the goal to aim at. The keeper is nowhere near. 2 yards away, he gets his left foot underneath it and smashes it over the crossbar. It is a quite incredible miss, Mark. It will be all over social media very shortly.
Ali, isn't it brilliant? Isn't it brilliant when pros miss goal chances like that?
Honestly. I mean, Chris Sutton would never have missed a chance like that, but I tell you that's a terrible miss tonight. And the other game, Mark, Bayern Munich incredibly comfortable at home to Benfica. Bayern 3, Benfica 0. Ajax are already through in that group, and Bayern will be as well. They are cruising. It's going to be Bayern and Ajax battling it out in the last game. Bayern go to Ajax. If Bayern win that game, which they're going to against Benfica this evening, then they will start on 13 points and Ajax on 11 points, both already through to the last 16 if Bayern go on to win. Arjen Robben scored 2, Mark, and if I tell you to imagine 2 classic Arjen Robben goals, I know you'll be able to picture them.
I saw one of them here. Cuts in, bends it left-footed.
And you're saying to the defenders in your head, well, don't show him inside. Don't show him inside. And all they do is show him onto that left foot, and 2 wonderful finishes into either top corner of the net. Lewandowski scored the other. That is his 50th Champions League goal, so he joins quite a select band of players who've managed that. So Bayern 3, Benfica 0. It's going to be Bayern and Ajax who go through there. I should just mention as well, Mark, and this is rather unsavoury, some nasty scenes in the early kickoff in the Greek capital for the game between AEK Athens and Ajax. Clashes amongst the supporters before the game and at half-time. It looked like flares were actually thrown into the Ajax supporters, so something for UEFA to try and sort out there. Some pretty disturbing, not nice pictures coming from that game.
Thank you very much, Ali. Ali will talk to us about Tottenham later. He'll be at Wembley tomorrow and he'll keep an eye on the second half of events there. Let's go to the League Cup tie at Leicester with Robin Cowan, where a friend of mine is at the game, Robin, and he says it's so bad. It's so bad. The only highlight so far has been the pre-match curry.
I think I'd go, I'd agree with that. It's still 0-0, as you can imagine. 51 minutes gone, apart from a couple of half chances right at the end of that first half. It's really not been a great game. And I'll give you this, Mark. The commentary team from 5 Live Sports Extra to my right have already started drawing the grids for the penalty shootouts, and we've still got a good over half an hour left to go. It's Leicester 0, Southampton 0.
Straight to penalties after 90 minutes in the Carabao Cup this season. Let's go to Nicola McCarthy then in the Championship, watching Hull and Norwich trying to keep up the visitors. This excellent form of theirs, Nicola.
That's right, exactly. Excellent form, as you say, but still goalless here. Hull 0, Norwich 0. Hull, they've started this half the stronger, dominating possession, and they've had a couple of shots on target, although nothing to trouble Tim Krul too much. Still a stalemate, 0-0.
So into the second half then in all the domestic games. Here's the latest scores then. Brentford 1, Sheffield United 2. Brentford were in front there. Goalless Hull, Norwich we've heard. Likewise Leeds, Reading. It's Preston 1, Middlesbrough 1. Rotherham 2, QPR 1. And Sheffield Wednesday 0, Bolton 0. Into the second half in all the League 1 games. Accrington 1, Wickham 0. Bristol Rovers 0, Gillingham 1. Burton Charlton is 1-1. Doncaster 1 up on Blackpool. Fleetwood 1, Coventry 0. Luton 3, Bradford 0. And Oxford 2, Rochdale 1. Goalless Peterborough and Wimbledon. Portsmouth going so well, 2 up on Walsall. Shrewsbury 1, Plymouth 0. Southend 1, Scunthorpe 0. And Sunderland 3, Barnsley 1 at the Stadium of Light. In League 2 in the second half, Bury 2, Cheltenham 1. Crewe 1, Cambridge 0. Goalless Exeter and Macclesfield. Forest Green 0, Colchester 1. Grimsby 3-1 up on Tranmere. Mansfield Crawley postponed because of a waterlogged pitch. Goalless at MK Dons, where Morecambe are the visitors. Newport 3, Northampton 1. Goalless Notts County against Carlisle and Oldham against Lincoln. Swindon are 3-1 up on Stevenage, and it's Yeovil 0, Port Vale 3. All those into the second half. There we are then, we're up to date. 3 minutes away from 9 o'clock, and Nick Hatfield has the news.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. A Border Force cutter could be recalled from the Mediterranean to patrol the British coast after a big rise in migrants trying to cross the Channel. The Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, says he's very concerned by the problem. It's thought criminal gangs may be helping people make the crossing. Last night, 18 migrants had to be rescued in small boats. Theresa May has been visiting Wales and Northern Ireland as part of a charm offensive to sell her Brexit deal. The leader of the DUP, Arlene Foster, says the Prime Minister has given up on getting a better agreement with Brussels. MPs vote on the deal next month. Here's the Cabinet Office Minister, David Liddington.
There is a binary choice for the House of Commons to make. They can accept the deal that is on the table, that is a compromise, but I think is a good compromise for our national interests, or they can vote it down. And the one thing that is certain is that there would be additional uncertainty at that point, because the EU27 is very clear they are not going to reopen this package.
A bus company has been fined almost £2.5 million after ignoring warnings about a driver who crashed into a Sainsbury's in Coventry, killing 2 people. Kailash Chanda, who drove for Midland Red, was later diagnosed with dementia. A terminally ill man has lost his latest legal fight over his right to die. Noel Conway, who has motor neurone disease, took his case to the Supreme Court, but it was rejected. And Netflix is to create a number of Roald Dahl animations as part of a deal with the dead author's estate. Among the new works will be Matilda, the BFG, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Twits.
End of days.
I'm thinking, my sister's in there, my aunt is in there.
The untold story of how 30 cult members from Britain ended up on a ranch in the Texas desert.
Really was just a cult group out in the country.
Unprecedented access to survivors, families, friends, and law enforcement.
Let's send them out of that house right now. No.
Available now, exclusively on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League.
With Mark Pugach.
If I may just add my voice to all those who've talked about that podcast, it is absolutely fantastic. Chris Warburton and the team have done a brilliant job. I really would encourage you to listen to it. It's fantastic radio. Right, so tomorrow night, 5 Live Sport, PSG against Liverpool is the commentary. Just 1 point separates Jurgen Klopp's side, the French champions, and the group leaders Napoli. The bottom line is a win in Paris will see Liverpool reach the knockout stages, and PSG have confirmed that Mbappe and Neymar are both fit to start after they went off with injuries at the international break last week. We'll be in Paris after 10 o'clock with John Murray. Big game for Tottenham as well. They're at home to Inter, and Tottenham need to haul themselves back into contention in Group B. Bar already through, but 3 points for Tottenham will see them move level on points with Inter. So Ali Bruce Ball will be going to Wembley tomorrow night. So those are the permutations.
Yeah.
Still a big task for Tottenham tomorrow.
Yeah.
And of course with Barca away to come.
That's right, Mark. So the nice thing for Tottenham going into the game at Wembley tomorrow is they know exactly what they have to do. They have to win that game to keep their chances alive of getting through to the knockout stages, to take it to the final round of games. What will be tough for them, of course, is that Inter Milan come to Wembley knowing that they will only need a draw to guarantee their place in the knockout stages. If Tottenham can win it, they will then start that last round of games. So they're away to Barcelona and Inter at home to PSV. They'll be level on 7 points with Inter. So they're either going to have to better their result or match the Inter result to have a chance of getting through. If they do end the group level on points, then we go back to the head-to-head record. So ideally, Tottenham, if they can win tomorrow, would like to win it by a couple of goals, or a 1-0 win as well would see them through on the head-to-head by virtue of the away goal scored in Milan. But that's getting a little ahead of ourselves, Mark. You know, bottom line is tomorrow, Tottenham have to win the game, have to beat Inter at Wembley tomorrow, and then, you know, try and go to the Nou Camp and win that game as well, which is a big ask.
They need to do what they did last time when you were there with Lee Dixon, of course, and they dug it out, didn't they, with a couple of late Harry Kane goals.
They did.
Dele Alli scored his first goal in 2 months in Saturday's win over Chelsea. Wow, didn't Tottenham play well? Mauricio Pochettino says Dele Alli always a player for the big occasion.
He loves challenge. He gets bored quick when he don't feel the pressure and the challenge. We laugh a lot with Jesus. When he's alone with the ball in front of the goal, it's boring. He's say, oh, that is Dele Alli, the big and the top player. And say, wow. But when he's with opposition and he's under pressure, it's unbelievable. He's a competitor. He loves this type of game. He loves to compete in a difficult situation. I think it's like this, how I describe him.
So that's tomorrow night. Couple of big games for you. PSG, Liverpool, Tottenham against Inter. Arsenal's match in Ukraine on Thursday has been moved because of the political situation to Kiev. Arsenal's game is in Kiev now on Thursday. Big tomorrow night then for the English teams. And here, Alan Green, looks like a couple of changes from young boys at half-time.
Certainly one change. Von Bergen, the captain, hasn't made it back for the start of the second half. He's been replaced by Garcia, and Garcia, I think, will just fit in to midfield. Laufer going back into the central defence, methinks.
I think Garcia we may find he goes to left back. Yes, Laufer.
He has done, you're right. We're underway, no changes made by Mourinho. So here's the Manchester United lineup. Goalkeeper De Gea, defensive Valencia, Jones, Smalling and Shaw, then Fred, Matic and Fellaini, then Lingard, Rashford and Martial. Rashford could easily have had a hat-trick in the first half, no exaggeration. Young boys goalkeeper is Von Bournemouth. Then their defence is Mbabu, Camara, Laufer and the substitute Garcia. Benito has moved further forward and he's in midfield with Soleimani, Ivisher and So and Asali, and then finally up front in Sandy. It's good of the people in the director's box to come back after their half-time meal so late, so that they're standing up. Well, take your seats, folks. Don't worry about anybody not seeing the game.
It's actually there's an awful for me, Alan.
Look around Old Trafford. Yeah. Look how many empty seats there are. Yeah. Now the food may be good, however, you'd surely want to be out as a United fan for the start of the second half.
Well, maybe,
and they're not.
Well, maybe United fans prefer the food this season.
Well, it's really poor. Really poor.
Young boys are three centre-halves. Benito is playing as a third centre-half, so they are a back five, if you like.
Throwing United on the attack, attacking the Stretford end. Martial into the penalty here, goes down, but he wasn't fouled, and it's cleared by young boys over the halfway line.
Should he not be stronger than that, Martial? Driving into the box on that left-hand side, shoulder to shoulder with Mbabu. He doesn't protest, Martial, but it's a big boy.
Here's Smalling, put under a little bit of pressure by Asali, but Smalling turns and clears the danger. Knocked back by Lingard, now it's played to the left side towards Shaw. Shaw appeared to be second favourite to get to the ball, but he did enough to get it into United's possession. Here's Matic. Matic. Oh, now there's a foul on Martial, and the referee is going to book Camara.
I think that's one of those where Camara has gone in with Martial towards the ball. There's a coming together. He does stand on his foot. It is a free kick. Martial is in a bit of pain, but I don't think that's cynical, Alan.
No, you're right. You're right, Chris. Nevertheless, it is a free kick to United, and United with a sluggish start to the second half. Can't allow that to continue. It's with the captain Valencia on the far side of the field, up level over the edge of the Swiss penalty area. He runs into the box now. The defender is trying to shepherd the ball behind for a goal kick, and does so successfully.
So strong. This is a big half for United with the score. I think Juve Valencia 0-0. United need a goal. They need a goal. The performance has been pretty tepid in the first half. They'll put themselves under pressure.
Yeah, well, it would leave them in a situation whereby, you know, Valencia would still be 2 points behind them going into the last game.
Well, and would you fancy United?
No. Not the way they're playing this season. These small mercies, it wouldn't be at Old Trafford. Here, it's with young boys. That's a loose pass forward by Camara, though. Gone straight through to Valencia on the far side of the field. Into Smalling. And now Fred. Fred, left-footed, aiming the pass towards Rashford, who'd made the move too early, and he's offside.
Yes, playing as a central striker tonight, Rashford. Not over Lukaku. He's got so much pace, he doesn't need to go early in those situations. Timing of his runs have been pretty good tonight.
Benfica pulled a goal back in Munich, but Bayern lead by 3-1. Bayern and Ajax are going through from that group. In the Championship, Leeds 1, Reading 0. In League One, Bristol Rovers 0, Gillingham 2. And Barnsley have scored another goal at Sunderland. They were 3-0 down, it's only 3-2 now. In League 2, Oldham 1, Lincoln 1, Lincoln with the equaliser. MK Dons have taken the lead against Morecambe 1-0. And Tranmere pulled a goal back, playing away to Grimsby. Grimsby still leading 3-2. Free kick. And, well, I think United are going to make a change here shortly. It's not a good enough start to the second half. Pogba will be coming on. Not necessarily that he makes a great difference by some of his displays this season.
Well, they need a spark, don't they, Alan?
Yeah,
United.
It ain't good enough. And they started the first half brighter than this. I wonder what he said to them at half-time. Matt is also warming up. He's a player I rate. And Lukaku. United have the ball. It's with Shaw, their left back. 20 yards over the halfway line. Forward to Fellaini. Wide to Martial. Fellaini again. And now Matic. And Matic spreads it to Fred. Fred now, about 25 yards from goal. Pass to his right to Valencia. Valencia fancies taking it further forward. Now he's being hampered. He's been brought down, and it's a free kick to United. Yes. Towards the right side.
Silly foul to give away. Garcia, his Champions League debut, not getting to the ball. Valencia gets his body in, and this is a chance. Fred again.
Left foot with a free kick from the United right side. Lots of red shirts to aim for in the penalty area. Who makes the decisive move? It's driven in by Fred, easily caught by the goalkeeper.
He's got to do better. 50 million quid straight into the keeper's hands.
There's a goal in Lyon, John Southall.
And this place is absolutely erupted. Lyon 1, Manchester City 0. Maxwell Cornet on the right of the penalty area curled a delightful shot into the top left-hand corner. Lyon 1, Manchester City 0.
Incredible. Football. Crazy game, isn't it?
They've got some players, Lyon have.
They have. Oh, without question. We saw that at the Etihad in the first meeting. But I wasn't expecting Manchester City to have trouble tonight. Not the way they've been playing of late.
Agreed.
Now it's a free kick to young boys. The pace of the game is slowed down. That's going to suit the Swiss team. Soleimani's going to go across towards the left side to take the free kick. And look, they put a number of players forward in attacking positions. Soleimani, left-footed, swings the free kick into the penalty towards camera. De Gea caught it simply.
It's catching, isn't it? Poor free kicks.
Camera knocks it forward. Benito, it stayed in defence, heads it away. It's inside the centre circle, but Asali loses the ball cheaply, and it's given away by Manchester United. That's not good enough. Mbabu takes a return pass. Mbabu into the penalty area, shoots into the side netting.
Poor choice.
It was never threatening the goal properly.
No, and it was sloppy from Fred again in the middle of the park. And Mbabu, the full-back for young boys, little give and go, right-hand side of the box. He tries to shoot and catch De Gea out at his near post, but it's at an acute angle there. Should just think about feeding that across goal. The body's in there.
Bayern Munich have now restored a 3-goal advantage at Benfica. They've scored a 4th goal. Bayern 4, Benfica 1. In the Championship, Brentford 2, Sheffield United 2. Equaliser for the Yorkshire team. In League 1, Fleetwood 2, Coventry 0, Shrewsbury 2, Plymouth 0. And in League 2, Notts County 1, Carlisle 0. Don't forget, you can press the red button, and that way you can follow the final score graphics and the video printer, as well as listening to the 5 Live commentary that Chris Sutton and myself are providing from Old Trafford. Almost broke away in a counter-attack there, young boys, but So tackled by Matic. Matic won the ball, then he gives it away to So. Matic gets it back from So. Matic plays it into the penalty area. Then there's a turn, and here's Rashford again. Rashford shoots wide.
The flag didn't go up. That was another opportunity.
There was no offside flag.
I think he slipped, didn't he, in the end, and a look of bewilderment on Mourinho's face in the technical area. It's a good ball from Matic. It's into Rashford, who turns, and it's a close one, isn't it? But that's a chance, Alan, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
left-hand side of the 6-yard box on the corner there. He slips, loses his footing. Big opportunity there for Rashford.
I have a huge amount of admiration for Rashford, but tonight he squandered chance after chance. Martial into Fred. Fred tumbles over after a challenge, but the ball remains with Manchester United. Shaw to Fellaini, back to Shaw, left of the penalty area. Shaw now to Matic. Matic tackle, loses the ball very comfortably. And Babu clears it.
That was the talk in the gents' toilets at half-time. Rashford's finishing, Alan.
I don't want to hear any more of that. Is that really what you were talking about?
I was listening.
What were you doing at the same time? You're supposed to say in the media room or the press room, not the toilet. That would have been a lie. Right, here's Fred. Fred to Martial. Martial shot squirts into the air. It's inside the penalty. Oh my word! No. Fellaini! How did he miss? On the volley. Oh, that was shocking.
What an incredible few seconds of football. It's from a central area. Martial tries to feed a ball through. The goalkeeper comes, doesn't get it, and I think everybody stops. But Fellaini, was he 6 yards out on the volley? He is under a little bit of pressure, but he's got to hit the target, Alan, hasn't he?
Shocking.
Just another golden opportunity. John begging.
I try to remember his qualities, because he does have some qualities, but I cannot believe that he is playing for Manchester United. And I don't think many Manchester United fans would disagree with me.
Well, I take your point. I think he does have some good attributes.
Oh, he does.
But he's not what you would describe as a United player, or a player who fits United.
No, that's the way of putting it, Chris. Rightly said. Free kick to Manchester United. Increased disgruntlement around Old Trafford, aside from the 3,000 Swiss fans. Now Mourinho consulting colleagues. Now he's sat down, he's moved away from his technical area. He must be thinking of a change or two, surely. Not yet. We're approaching the hour mark. Pass didn't reach Rashford. It's cleared. Insami can't control the ball due to his frustration. Taken up on the far side of the field. And then what about that for a cross? Wildly overhit by Matic. Still in play though. And then Mbappe clears, but hits it straight to Shaw. Shaw comes forward. He's shoulder charged and fouled. Yeah, it's a free kick. And it's taken quickly to Fred. Fred to Lingard. Lingard, was he brought down? No, he wasn't. Referee had a clear view of it. Juventus have taken the lead against Valencia. 1-0. So at the moment, if the scores remain the same, then United would go to Valencia, and if they lost the game, would go out on the head-to-head. But they've still got time to win this.
Well, it just tells you the importance now. It's there for United, isn't it? The knockout stage.
Win the game, they're going to go through.
Yep.
How much longer do Pogba, Lukaku and Mata warm up? Mourinho comes out again.
Didn't trust him to start, Alan.
No. Well, the irony would be if one of them help win the game now. But young boys have the ball. Young boys on the attack. Soleimani plays it to the left-hand side. It's a weak cross into the United box. And here it goes to Matic. Matic now. He may not be on the pitch for that much longer. We'll see. Lingard claims he was fouled. Referee says get up. No free kick. Now it's with Fred rather. I've introduced another player into the United team that wasn't there. Where is Sanchez, by the way? What's he doing? Is he watching? And another goal in Lyon. John Southall.
A Frenchman has scored, but it's a Frenchman for Manchester City. Lyon 1, Man City 1. Aymeric Laporte with a header from 10 yards out into the bottom right-hand corner. So as it stands, Manchester City will be qualifying tonight. Lyon 1, Man City 1.
In League 1, Fleetwood 3, Coventry 0. Oxford 3, Rochdale 2. And in the Championship, Brentford 2, Sheffield United 3 there. United have come from behind to lead. It's still 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Juventus lead against Valencia 1-0. Long ball played in the direction of Rashford. Rashford in the end wins it. Then he's fouled by Benito. Benito complains about the assistant raising his flag, but he might also be booked, and he is booked.
It's a long ball in that right-hand channel. The United left-hand channel defensively.
Free kicks taken too quickly. The referee's not going to allow that.
Benito gets it on his chest and the ball bounces. He's just trying to clear it downfield, catches Rashford instead. Is Fred going to get this delivery right? As Lukaku, I think, is getting stripped.
Lukaku is stripped, ready to come on now. He'll be the first of the changes. They've had chances, I can't emphasise that enough. Just haven't taken any. Here's Fred with a free kick, left-footed in, straight into the hands of the goalkeeper again.
3 out of 4 of his free kicks have been poor, really poor. Straight down the goalkeeper's throat again.
Now, do you take Rashford off?
Be surprised if you took Rashford off. You have to win the game and put Lukaku on to play alongside him. Surely Fellaini would be the one to go, wouldn't he?
He wouldn't be my starting 11 ever.
So it'd be the one to
I
go.
don't take the Manchester United team, and Mourinho clearly likes the Belgian. But I think his use is really as a late game instrument. You know, you're struggling, you put him on, he's physical, he's very good in the air, you stick him up front and see what havoc he creates. Not starting with him. But here's Shaw for Manchester United. On to Martial. Shaw still running forward. Martial cutting in towards the penalty. Plays it back. Here's Fred. Fred shoots straight at the goalkeeper.
It was Lingard, wasn't it? 25 yards out centrally. We've seen him before in the past. Stick them in from that range. Just powers it straight down the goalkeeper's throat.
Fred wins the ball. Fred from Manchester United to Fellaini. Lukaku still waits to come on. We played 63 minutes. Fair challenge.
4v3.
Young boys win the ball, bring it forward, and it's 4 against 3, as you rightly say, Chris. Now, oh, what a waste. Oh,
what an opportunity.
A pass back there to Manchester United's benefit. It was chested back by Jones to his goalkeeper.
Well, Asali spoke about him earlier. He is so erratic. Got so much pace to burn, but dreadful crossfield ball. And the chance was gone. The young boys on the break.
Martial chips the ball forward. It's still in United's possession inside the penalty area with Rashford. Lingard arm aloft, wants it crossed in there. So too does Fellaini. Shot driven in by Martial high over the crossbar into the Stretford end. And here's the change. In fact, it's going to be a double switch. Pogba and Martial. Well, Lingard is going to be replaced by Lukaku. We'll be going to Ron Khan in a moment. Just let's see who Pogba replaces. And Mourinho saying to Lingard, come on, get off. He hasn't passed the test tonight.
Fred.
And Pogba. Yep, Fred. Well, there you go. It's a double change by Mourinho. It's not too late. And Roma are now 2-0 down to Real Madrid in Rome. In League 1, it's Accrington 1, Wycombe 1. And League 2, Bury 3, Cheltenham 1. Let's go to Leicester and Southampton. Robin Khan.
Leicester 0, Southampton 0 into the final 10 minutes here. Nathan Redmond has hit the crossbar for Southampton, and somehow Obafemi has put the rebound wide from a couple of yards out, and just now a really good run from his own half by Damari Gray. The finish though wide of the post. Leicester 0, Southampton 0.
And what news of Hull and Norwich? Nicola McCarthy.
0-0 as well. Hull 0, Norwich 0. Norwich really should be ahead though. Tom Triball's close range header just inches wide. He was completely unmarked in the box just after the hour mark. Despite that though, it has been mostly Hull this half, I have to say. No goals, but an entertaining game. Just under 10 minutes left. Hull 0, Norwich 0.
It's 0-0 here at Old Trafford as well. We've got 25 minutes to go. United, if they don't win this game, are in peril. Cross swung into the Swiss penalty area, Stretford end of Old Trafford, cleared comfortably by the defence. Now it's back with Pogba though. Pogba holds off a challenge, a foul challenge, still holds on to the ball, shot driven wide by Rashford.
What an impact, instant impact from Pogba, clever on the edge of the box. Feeds the ball into Rashford, 18 yards out, slashes at it with his left foot, goes well wide. The right-hand post. Good ovation Pogba and Lukaku got. Lukaku's gone into a central striking role. Rashford moved out to that right-hand side.
We've got a change. Basnek is coming on to replace Soleimani for Young Boys. Wow. This is interesting. Manchester United, as it is, would be 3 points clear of Valencia, but their last group game is in Valencia. And I remember that terrible night, the first game of the group, 0-0 here against Valencia. It would mean any Valencia win would take them above United on the head-to-head.
Well, that would mean huge pressure for Mourinho. This United team at the moment, you have to say it, they don't look like a top 4 Premier League team. Far from it. In many respects, they're lucky Valencia have been so rotten this season as well, but the pressure will be on. This is an enormous last 20-odd minutes.
Camera free kick for Young Boys. Headed away by Smalling. Cleared further by Matic. And then Fellaini's pass to the right was behind Lukaku. Lukaku did well. Used his body strength to get across there. But then he forgot to take the ball with him as he ran forward down the right side, trying to win it back now, can't do so. And it's with Ivershire. Over the halfway line he goes now to Nsami, to the left side. Little Asali is the furthest forward for Young Boys. What if they were to score a goal now?
It's just opened up now, hasn't it, the game?
It's played down the left-hand side. There's the cross into the penalty area. It seemed to be overhit, but it's going to be kept in play by Mbabu. Just to the right of the United penalty area. Mbabu swings the cross in, blocked by the body of Shaw, behind for a corner.
Positive substitutions for Mourinho, getting his 2 big guns on the pitch. It's end to end now.
You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC. Manchester United 0, Young Boys 0. In France, it's Lyon 1, Manchester City 1. Corner here. So to take it from the right side in front of 3,000 screaming Young Boys fans, all dressed in yellow. Played into the penalty area, of course. Headed away by Manchester United. Lifted by Matic to Rashford. Rashford doesn't want to lose possession here. Deep inside his own half, but he has lost possession. It's only out for a throw-in though.
He's looking at Mourinho in his technical area, hands on his face, shaking his head. Had nowhere to go, Rashford.
In League One, Southend 2, Scunthorpe 0. Oxford 4, Rochdale 2. Doncaster 2, Blackpool 0. In League 2, Swindon 3, Stevenage 2. United on the attack here. Lukaku plays it forward. Now Martial into the penalty area, onto his right foot, shoots, deflects off the defender. Weak effort from Martial.
I'll tell you, a couple of times though, camera's done really well.
It's Grimsby 4, Tranmere 2, and Bury 4, Cheltenham 1. Now Young Boys come forward with a bit of pace. There's a shot driven in, takes a deflection, loops over the crossbar for a corner.
It's end to end, isn't it? United at one end, Martial 1v1. You fancy him in those situations. Camera stood up well. Straight away at the other end, young boys break away. They're starting to fancy this, Alan.
Yeah, the thing is that obviously United are going to commit lots of players forward, and young boys know that, and they're quick, and they'll counter-attack at every opportunity. So is to take the corner from the left side. 20 minutes to go, 0-0 at Old Trafford. Played in towards the near post, half clear, shot driven in. Oh, it's almost deflected. Brilliant save by De Gea. Goodness gracious. Old Trafford held its breath. Another cross into the penalty. Brilliant from De Gea.
That was an unbelievable save. He's got no right to save it. De Gea, he somehow claws the ball. There's a shot from the edge of the box, deflected. I think he's going the wrong way initially, De Gea. And he claws the ball out from just inside that right-hand post. Unbelievable bit of goalkeeping.
The shot was wickedly deflected. Young boys, though, sense blood. They come forward. It's with Asali, right side of the penalty here. Crosses in. Looping header away by the defender. Valencia heads it further here. Fellaini is there. United are struggling here. They've made the changes. You would argue attacking changes, but it's young boys of Bern who look more threatening at the moment. Insami. Now it's back to So to Asali. Asali in a central position. Beaten two players. Was foul tackle, and well, the referee, Felix Brick, one of the best in Europe, has just blown for a free kick when the momentum was with young boys.
Yeah. But there's still a good position. Just watching this De Gea save. Again, it is an unbelievable save. I think the ball nearly goes over the line. It's behind him, the ball, when he makes the save. Double deflection. What a save, Alan, that is.
Incredible. And he hasn't had a lot to do tonight, but that was magnificent. Now we've got a free kick in a central position now for young boys. 25 minutes to go. Matt is going to come on, and he's replacing Fellaini. Is it? Well, Valencia's coming up. They had the 27 up initially, but it's Valencia who's coming on. So Mata is on.
You can't accuse him of not going for it. There's another attacking player on, someone with a bit of guile who can see a pass.
Right. So, with the free kick, it's a good 25 yards from goal, more than that. It gets over the wall and over the crossbar.
It's not far away, is he? Right-footed over the wall, just dipped at the end, but narrowly over the bar. They fancy this, young boys, but they may just play into United's hands now.
In League 1, Sunderland 4, Barnsley 2, and in League 2, Notts County 1, Carlisle 1. Carlisle with the equaliser. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. 18 minutes to go plus added time. Jones has gone to right back. Jones is there, playing the ball into the penalty. Poor header down. Martial there. His shot blocked. Scoops away to the far side. Jones heads it down. Fellaini. Jones again. Back to Smalling. Matic is now back in the centre circle. It's with Pogba. Pogba to Rashford. Back to Pogba. Pogba, expensive. Scored 2 goals, of course, in Bern. He's there. There's a header by Lukaku wide.
Yeah, ball whipped in from Fellaini on that right-hand side. Well worked from United. Lukaku, 12 yards out, level with the near post. Powers a header. He's just past that left hand upright. The young boy's goal. Rashford now central striker. Lukaku central striker. Martial out on the left. Mata on the right-hand side. He's going for it, Mourinho.
Reminding you that Juventus lead Valencia 1-0, also in this group. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Here's Jones. Jones back to Martial. Martial to Shaw. Yard outside defender. Takes a minor deflection, and the goalkeeper gathers that one easily. The reason I remind you of the Juventus scoreline, Valencia losing would stay on 5 points. Manchester United drawing would move to 8 points. And the last game is away to Valencia. And given the 0-0 draw between the two sides here earlier in the Champions League group, any win for Valencia would see them leapfrog over United to qualify for the knockout phase, and United would be in the Europa League. That's a good ball to the left side by Young Boys. And look how many grey shirts are squirting forward. Played into the edge of the penalty. The shot was well wide. Chance for Fasnacht.
Well, I said the game has really opened up, isn't it? And Young Boys not showing a lot of maturity with their finishing as well.
But they have been creating chances in the second half. Here's Shaw. Both coaches out in the edge of the technical areas. That's a ball played to Marshall to the left, just keeps it from going behind for a goal kick. Plays it back to Shaw. Shaw crosses into the penalty area, straight onto the forehead of Lord for the defender. His headed clearance runs to Pogba. Now it's back to Matic. Matic to Shaw again, and then fortunately forward to Matic off a Young Boys flare. Now Marshall crosses, not a great cross. Lukaku would have wished for greater height. Now they can knock it forward. Here's an opportunity, and Sami running through. Smalling is there, and strong. Well done, Smalling.
Twice Smalling. First winning the initial header, then a foot race. Good race it was. Smalling just easing Sami out there.
In League One, Bristol Rovers 1, Gillingham 2. Burton 1, Charlton 2. Accrington 1, Wickham 2. And in League 2, MK Dons 2, Morecambe 0, and Grimsby now lead Tranmere 5-2. And all we're saying here at Old Trafford is give us a goal. United, give us a goal. Here's Fellaini. Onto the far side, and Jung back into Pogba. Pogba trying to return the pass to Fellaini, but it's intercepted, and Young Boys bring it clear. And I wonder if they have the pace to trouble the defence. Matic is down in defence at the moment, and Sami collects the ball. Sally's available. It's still inside the penalty here. The shot is driven, it hits Smalling and rebounds to safety for United, with Pogba on the near side of the field. Stepping away from Mbafu. Played back by Marshall to Pogba. Pogba forward towards Lukaku. Neat touch to Mata. Mata can't feed the ball through again. And Young Boys are as interested in attacking as United are at this stage.
Yeah, well, they're both slugging it out now. You see Young Boys, they fancy this. They think they can go on and win this.
12 minutes to go. I tell you what, if they win it, of course, that would take them on to 4 points, and they'd only be 1 point behind Valencia in terms of a Europa League place, which they would certainly welcome. Shaw wins that tackle. Ball breaks to Marshall. Rashford's running down the left-hand side. Marshall kept it, tackled, lost the ball. And now it's with So infield to Fasnacht. Fasnacht to the left side. And just waiting for Sami to break into the penalty area. They're not crossing the ball. They've run the ball into the penalty area now. Asali, faced by a couple of defenders, falls over, loses the ball, and it's knocked away by Mata. Headed back into possession for Young Boys. He's got 12.5 minutes left for play, plus added time. Manchester City drawing away to Lyon. It's 1-1 there. It's 0-0 here at Old Trafford. There's a cross into the penalty area for Young Boys. Overhit. Mata's there. Mata controls it beautifully. Then he knocks it away to Lukaku. Lukaku's 20 yards short of the halfway line. Lukaku looking for movement upfield. Rashford has run through the middle. It's played in towards Pogba. Pogba sweeps it back in the direction of Lukaku. Hooked away by Benito, out of play for a throw into Manchester United. There's another goal in Lyon. John Southall.
And the noise around me will tell you that Lyon have retaken the lead. Lyon 2, Manchester City 1, and it's Maxwell Cornet again on the left of the area, and he slipped it under Edison, and this place has gone delirious. But as it stands, City will still go through tonight, because Hoffenheim are drawing 2-2. They're down to 10 men, but City again are losing to Lyon. Lyon 2, Manchester City 1.
Bayern lead Benfica by 5-1 now. In the Championship, it's 2-2 between Rotherham and Queen's Park Rangers. League 1, Luton now 4-0 up against Bradford. League 2, Crewe lead Cambridge 2-0. 0-0 here at Old Trafford.
Yeah, really glad there's goals going in elsewhere, Alan.
79 minutes played. They still have to score in the Champions League at home this season, Manchester United. This would be a critical one, with Valencia losing. It's played in deep into the penalty, header down, and the shot over the crossbar by Mata.
Well,
it wasn't low enough.
That's what he's good at, though, isn't he? Fellaini peeling away, diagonal ball, United going direct, knocked down. Mata couldn't get that hip up high enough. And he hooks it over the bar from 12 yards.
That's what I was saying, Chris, about Fellaini. You know, I can understand him in this role now. You know, play him forward, direct the ball at every opportunity towards him in the air, and the header might help out. Another goal in the game between Lyon and Manchester City.
It didn't last long. Lyon 2, Manchester City 2. A corner from the right-hand side, and there was Sergio Aguero with a header to deflect it into the bottom left-hand corner. His 10th of the season. Lyon 2, Manchester City 2.
It's also heading for a draw here at Old Trafford.
A different draw.
Oh yes, very different. Here's Fasnacht back to So. Fasnacht once more. Back into the centre circle. They do look comfortable in possession, young boys. No wonder they're so far ahead in the Swiss League. They're a good side.
You just said that and camera hoofed it.
Yeah, it's always the trigger for me, you know, to make a mess of what I'm saying. Anyway, less than 10 minutes to go before added time. Fellaini on to Matic. It's still slow from United.
Well, it is, but this is a team, Alan, who have lacked belief all season. It's not a surprise.
Here's Jones in his own half to Matic in the centre circle. Matic with a little bit of room to run into. Pass forward to Pogba onto Shaw. Shaw into the edge of the penalty. Martial crosses, easily headed away by the defender. And it's cleared. One back by Smalling. Smalling did well there. Rashford loses it again. Now it's knocked to Pogba. Pogba crosses. Is it overhead? No, it's not. The header down, but it's wide.
It's a good spot from Pogba. Left-hand side of midfield. Yeah, but Pogba spotted Smalling, didn't he, on the diagonal. Whipped a good ball in, and Smalling peeling away at the far post, trying to head it back across goal. Heads it well wide.
Another change by young boys. In Gambalou is coming on. Who's he replacing? It's Sami.
Shaw is pushing him off. There's a little coming together there.
Well, he's going to get into a spot of bother there. It's none of Shaw's business.
No, he shouldn't get involved. Doesn't need to get involved.
Lucky to escape a yellow card. 8 minutes to go, 0-0. City drawing 2-2 in Lyon. Goal kick for young boys. Headed back by Manchester United. Hooked high by Fasnacht. Lifts it on towards the far side of the field, towards Garcia. But it's out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Manchester United. Jones will take it.
United need a goal. Even if they lose, I don't think it changes things dramatically in terms of the last game, does it, Alan?
No.
One for you.
If they score, yes.
If United score, they go through. But if they lose the game,
no, it doesn't.
It's still the same.
It doesn't. It's still the same. But it was pretty good for young boys of Bern.
Absolutely. But you want to see a bit of desperation now from United.
At the moment, it's hanging on the last group game for Manchester United and Mourinho. Shaw, back to Matic, who's a makeshift central defender now for United. Alongside Smalling, Jones is at right back. Full time in the Championship. Hull 0, Norwich 0. I'll give you the other scores in a moment, other full times. Now it's played by Rashford, without much conviction into the penalty area. Martial's lucky to get it back. He plays it back to Pogba. Now it's Shaw. Tees up the cross in towards Lukaku. Headed away well, comfortably away by young boys. In the League Cup, 0-0, Leicester and Southampton. Penalties are over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Sounded like a fantastic game. Here's Pogba. Pogba on to Rashford. Rashford could have scored 4 or 5 goals in this game. Goes into the penalty area, falls over, not fouled. and it should be knocked away. And it is knocked away up to the halfway line. Met by Matic. Matic's pass, though, gives the ball away. Fasnacht to the right side. And it's just kept in play with the substitute, Ngamali. Into Asali. Asali goes down, gets a free kick. Mato unhappy with the award.
Mourinho going berserk in his technical area. I thought it was a foul. Asali. Just don't know what he's going to do, Asali. I don't think he actually knows himself. He's a threat, though.
Well, so with a free kick, far too far away to think about shooting. Plays it short to Fasnacht, back to So. And now it's on by Camera. And in it goes towards the edge of the United penalty area, towards Asali. Asali can't get past Matic. Matic is holding him off with his arm. And it is a free kick.
Yeah, he read that well, Matic. Got his body in. Too strong for Asali.
5 minutes to go here in 5 Live. That's 5 minutes before we have added time. 0-0, Manchester United and Young Boys. It's hit towards Lukaku. Lukaku's one good header. Lukaku crosses the ball into the penalty area now. Carefully headed away and run clear. That's a foul by Fellaini, and it's a free kick to Young Boys.
I don't see the desperation. This is a huge last 5 minutes from United. Qualification beckons, doesn't it? They get the goal, they're through.
Yep. Are they really thinking, oh, it's going to be all right in Valencia? I wouldn't take that risk. Anyway, other full times in the Championship: Brentford 2, Sheffield United 3, Leeds 1, Reading 0, Preston 1, Middlesbrough 1, Rotherham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2, and Sheffield Wednesday have beaten Bolton 1-0. It's played forward towards Rashford. Brilliant interception by Loader. Young Boys were at risk there. United have the ball back. 4 minutes to go. Pogba ahead of the centre circle. Flips it forward to Fellaini. Fellaini's return volleyed pass didn't work out, and they run it away. It's Fasnacht through to Ngamali. I can't say his name. He shoots anyway wide, thank heavens.
Thank goodness he didn't score.
I never got his name off my lips.
The box.
Do you know something? I was looking at the team sheet before the game, and I thought, thank goodness he's on the bench, and I hope he doesn't come on. It's just a difficult one to pronounce.
Ngamalu?
I've tried to say that a couple of times and failed miserably. That's typical of me. Here's Shaw. Come on, United. Martial, back to Pogba. Pogba to Rashford. Rashford couldn't bring the ball under control, and it's through to the goalkeeper.
And Mourinho turns round, gestures to the bench. Rashford can't hold it in. No. Should he be making these public gestures?
No, he shouldn't. And he shouldn't be slamming any of his players publicly for me. But look, managers are different. I'm sure someone like Sean Dyche, for example, probably hammers his player in the dressing room, but never publicly. And that's the way I would like my manager to be. Pogba swigs the pass towards the left side, towards Shaw. And it goes to Matic. United have everybody barred De Gea inside the Swiss half. Pogba again. He mustn't give the ball away cheaply, though. Pogba coming forward, running into the penalty area. Now he has lost the ball, and they can't counter-attack here. So, to Fasnacht. Fasnacht being joined now by 3 colleagues inside the United half. It's 5 against 5 at the moment. Now they slow it down, Young Boys. 2 minutes to go before added time. I think they're happy with the point, the way it's going.
Well, don't they need a goal?
Well,
they do.
They do. But a point would keep them theoretically near Valencia, with a margin of hope. They've got the ball. They haven't lost possession for a good minute and a half here. It's with it inside the United half. Yeah, where's the pressure from United players?
And remember, United so famous for late goals as the offside flag goes up. Look at the crowd, they don't believe. We talked about empty seats earlier. Look at it now. Look at it now. This never used to happen.
Terrible. Just terrible. And Fergie's in the director's box just to the left. I wonder what privately the former great Manchester United manager is thinking about this shambles of the side that he's having to watch now. Here's Matic. Matic now to Rashford. On to Martial. A goal would change so much. Won't make you forget the performance. Falls inside the penalty area. Fellaini is there. And what's the referee giving? Handball. Free kick to Young Boys. We're inside the final 30 seconds of the regular 90 minutes.
But that was a ball where we've run out of ideas. Do you know what? We'll just hoof it into the box.
The singing is from the Swiss fans. They've been great. Lyon 2, Manchester City 2. That's a full-time score in France. City through to the knockout stages. Ball's out of play on the near side of the field. Throw into United. 3 minutes of added time to be played. We're into it. Still no great urgency from those in red. Shaw hits it high. Lukaku jumps, heads it on. Fellaini's inside the penalty. Fellaini scores! Fellaini, right-footed shot, low into the far corner, and Fellaini has put Manchester United into the knockout stages of the Champions League. So much for my criticism.
One long ball, flick on, doesn't matter how you score them, and Fellaini does well, does what he's good at, uses his body well, turns and places the ball into the corner of the net. It hasn't been pretty. United have been ugly, but it's the goal they needed, the goal they wanted, and the goal which will send them through to the knockout stages. Lukaku does well initially with the flick. Fellaini, one touch, two touches, and then turns, slots it into the net.
I mean, it has changed the whole scenario, but it won't erase memories of a really poor Manchester United performance. No. Those United fans who've stayed inside the stadium, there aren't that many of them, maybe 25,000. They're all singing and dancing now. The Swiss aren't dancing as much.
Well, it speaks volumes how many empty seats there are now and how many people left. They didn't believe. But in the end, if it's about the result, Mourinho's got the result, hasn't got the performance.
Hoffenheim 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 3. Just to emphasise the succession for Manchester City in terms of the Champions League. I don't know about you, Chris. I can see City threatening to win the Champions League this year. Can't see United threatening to win it.
Well,
they'll have to be totally transformed.
They will. And we know he's been there and done it before, but you just don't sense it with this United team.
Pogba with a free kick. Driven towards Lukaku. Lukaku heads it down. Mata. It must have been a foul there by Lukaku. It's a free kick to Young Boys. They've only got 35 seconds now to search for an equaliser. I feel a little sorry for them. I think they're a decent enough side. Maybe not properly at the Champions League level when the going gets tough, but there you go. Here's Rashford, who before that goal from Fellaini had at least 4 or 5 good chances to score tonight for the home side. Loses the ball there, it's out of play, it's going to be a throw into Young Boys. Even the Stratford end is only half full.
Yep.
Changed times at Old Trafford. Rashford after the throw-in into Pogba, and now Mata. There's the final whistle, and United progress in the Champions League, but I'm not sure how much confidence they inspire in terms of their fans.
No, but you have to say it's job done from United. It was all about the results. They didn't get the performance. Fellaini came good. It was a brute force goal. Lukaku flicked it on. Fellaini finish. Crucial goal. United go through to the group stages.
And don't forget that fantastic save by De Gea after the double deflection. Had Young Boys got in front then, who knows? Sorry, Chris, go on.
No, it's such an important save.
Brilliant.
Clawed out.
Absolutely brilliant. Final score, Manchester United 1, Young Boys of Bern 0.
Manchester United and Manchester City both through to the knockout stages. Straight to Robin Cowan The last place in the League Cup quarter-final has been decided after a penalty shootout. Robin.
It's gone to Leicester. It finished 0-0 after normal time. 5 perfect penalties each, and then Manolo Gabbiadini's was saved well down to his right by Ward. Mendy stuck away the winner. Southampton will feel aggrieved. They twice hit the bar and had a goal ruled out through VAR in the second half, but it's Leicester who go through to face Manchester City in the quarter-finals after winning the penalty shootout.
Thank you very much indeed, Robin. Leicester, Manchester City. Talking of the champions, John Southall in Lyon.
Well, terrific second half. Lyon 2, Manchester City 2. 0-0 at half-time. Then Maxwell Cornet curled a delightful shot into the top left-hand corner to give Lyon the lead. The equaliser, a Sterling free kick. Silva flicked it on, and Laporte, the Frenchman, headed into the bottom right-hand corner. But with 10 minutes to go, Cornet again slipped it under the goalkeeper Edison from the left of the area. Lead didn't last long, just for 3 minutes. Corner from the right, and there was Aguero to head it in, 10th of the season. 2-2, so both sides go through to the knockout phase of the competition, and we'll see who wins the group on the last game. It's finished Lyon 2, Manchester City 2.
Hoffenheim 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 3. So City 10 points with a game to go. Lyon 7, Shakhtar 5, Hoffenheim have 3. And Marouane Fellaini's late winner here, coupled with Juventus beating Valencia by a 1-0, means that it's Juventus and Manchester United who are through with a game to go. Juve 12 points, Man United 10, Valencia 5, Young Boys 1. Chris Sutton, I don't know whether you saw Jose Mourinho pick up the water carrier basket and hurl it to the ground in, well, I'm assuming exultation, relief. I mean, it was relief, wasn't it? Because it was a pretty wretched performance.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but they got the desired result, and in the end, it doesn't matter. It's job done. They are through, but, you know, performance-wise again, it's been the way United have been all season. There is a lack of belief, and I think it, you know, stems from the unrest in the dressing room. I'm not sure whether the players really are giving their all for the manager. And it was Route 1 football which got the winner. Straight ball flick, and Fellaini tucked it in superbly. Such an important goal. I mean, such a big goal, because, you know, had he not got the goal, they would have had to go to Valencia, and they would have been under serious pressure. The pressure is off.
The custard minions are out. They're out of Europe because they can't even make the Europa League. I mean, their fans have been tremendous tonight, Chris, haven't they? Look at them all. That was the noise you could hear is the Young Boys supporters, and the applause is from the director's box to our left. I'm assuming those are Young Boys directors or friends of directors. They've played really well this evening, haven't they? Without a cutting edge, the opponents.
Yeah, I mean, but then you think about the De Gea save when he clawed it out. You know, what a big save in the context of the game. I think it's their first venture into the Champions League, isn't it? And I think they've done themselves proud. I think when the group came out, everybody thought they would be the whipping boys, but they've been competitive, and they were, you know, they'll count themselves. You can see them walking off now, looking dejected. You know, I think they've done themselves proud, but it's a sort of a case tonight. They'll be feeling what might have been.
Let's go to Ali Bruce Ball then, who can let us know what's happened elsewhere and those who are definitely into the knockout stages, Ali.
Yeah, we know that 7 teams definitely through to the knockout stages from the groups playing tonight, Mark. So in Manchester United's group, that is Juve and Manchester United. In Manchester City's group, that is just City at the moment. Second spot up for grabs in that group, because Shakhtar, with their late winner at Hoffenheim in the 92nd minute of the game, have given themselves a chance. Lyon go to Ukraine in the last round of matches. If Shakhtar can beat Lyon there, then Shakhtar will go through with Manchester City, just as they did actually in the group stages last season. We already knew that Real Madrid and Roma were through ahead of the 8 o'clock kickoffs this evening, and Bayern and Ajax have gone through in Group E. So the results tonight: Juventus beat Valencia by 1-0. Cristiano Ronaldo set it up. Lovely little bit of trickery down the left-hand side. Cross for Mandzukic to score. Hoffenheim 2, Shakhtar 3, I've just mentioned. Hoffenheim played the last half hour of that game with 10 men. They had a couple of great chances to get ahead, including 18-year-old Reece Nelson, who came off the bench, who's been scoring loads of goals in the Bundesliga. Missed a great chance at 2-2 to put Hoffenheim ahead, but they now can't go through to the knockout stages. Real Madrid won 2-0 away to Roma. Gareth Bale on the score sheet tonight with the first goal, and Lucas Vazquez got the second. Real Madrid win that group, and Roma go through in second place. And big win for Bayern with the big names on the score sheet. They beat Benfica by 5-1. Arjen Robben got 2, Robert Lewandowski got 2, and Frank Ribéry added the 5th. So Bayern and Ajax will play each other in Amsterdam in the last round of matches. Bayern just need a draw to top the group, but if Ajax can beat them, then Ajax would leapfrog them and top the group.
Thank you very much indeed, Ali. OK, let's go through the other scores then tonight in the Championship. All full-time now. Brentford 2, Sheffield United 3, Hull 0, Norwich 0, Leeds 1, Reading 0, Preston 1, Middlesbrough 1, Rotherham 2, QPR 2, and Sheffield Wednesday 1, Bolton 0. So let's see how that affects the table after tonight. They've all played 19 at the top. Norwich 37, Leeds 36, Middlesbrough 35, Sheffield United 34. Bottom upwards, Ipswich 11 from 18, Bolton and Hull 17 points from 19 matches, and Millwall 17 from 18. So very tight down the bottom there. In League One, all full-time again. Accrington 1, Wickham 2, Bristol Rovers 1, Gillingham 2, Burton 1, Charlton 2, Doncaster 2, Blackpool 0, Fleetwood 3, Coventry 0, Luton 4, Bradford City 0, Oxford 4, Rochdale 2, Peterborough 1, Wimbledon 0, Portsmouth 2, Walsall 0, Shrewsbury 2, Plymouth 0, Southend 2, Scunthorpe 0, and Sunderland 4, Barnsley 2. Leaves the table looking like this on this Tuesday night. Portsmouth 44 from 19, 4 clear of Sunderland, and Luton 38 from 20, Peterborough 38 from 20, a couple of points behind Sunderland. Bottom upwards, having all played 20, Bradford 14, Wimbledon 14, Plymouth 16, Bristol Rovers 17, then a 4-point gap to Scunthorpe, Oxford and Gillingham, who are outside the relegation zone. That's still the young boys supporters who are enjoying the mowing going on here at Old Trafford. And League 2, Bury 4, Cheltenham 1, Crewe 2, Cambridge 0, Exeter 0, Macclesfield 1, Forest Green 0, Colchester 1, Grimsby 5, Tranmere 2, MK Dons 2, Morecambe 0, Newport 3, Northampton 1, Notts County 1, Carlisle 1, Oldham 1, Lincoln 1, Swindon 3, Stevenage 2, Yeovil 0, Port Vale 3. So let's have a look at the table then after the action in League 2. MK Dons 40 from 20, Lincoln 38 from 19, Colchester 35 from 20, Newport 35 from 20, Bury 33 from 20, Macclesfield 13 from 20. They've appointed Sol Campbell today. Notts County 16 from 20, and they're a point behind Cheltenham, who have 17 points from 19 matches. So that's what's been going on in England today. Plenty going on there, and in a couple of moments' time I will bring you the Scottish scores. In fact, I'll bring them to you now. Scottish League 2, Cowdenbeath 2, Queen's Park 0. In the FA Cup, Annan 3, Montrose 4, and Peterhead 0, Morton 3 in the Scottish Cup. When we're done at 10:30, it's Phil Williams. Phil, good evening. What do you got for us?
Eddie, Mark, I think everything was on time where you were tonight, but Lauren Hill's touring. The miseducation of Lauren Hill is 20 years old. 2.5 hours late in Paris, similar in Brussels. Apparently in Manchester last night, she was on stage so late that 11:30 she hit curfew, so they had to put the stage lights on while she was performing. The house lights, rather. So we'll talk to somebody who was at that gig and why she's going on stage so late when this album is so revered and so celebrated and she's performing tracks from it. Netflix have announced a Roald Dahl universe based around stories such as Matilda, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, BFG, so we'll tell you about those. And our big 11:30 interview, I think you're going to like this one, Mark. James Patterson, the world's most successful thriller writer. They reckon 1 in every 7 novels sold is a James Patterson novel. He reads exclusively from Target Alex Cross, which is his brand new one tonight, and says that writing fiction's now got very hard for him since Donald Trump became president, because the truth is stranger than fiction.
Well, I enjoy that on the way home this evening. Phil, thank you very much indeed. In the last half hour, we'll hear from Liverpool ahead of the game away to PSG tomorrow night. John Murray's there. That's our commentary as well. We'll think about Tottenham against Inter Milan. It's all on the way after the news with Davinia Ramos.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. It's claimed there could be a death in the English Channel if more isn't done to stop migrants trying to get into the UK. 18 people were rescued last night in 2 dinghies. Among them was an 18-month-old child. The MP for Dover is Charlie Elphick.
The seas are getting rougher, temperatures are falling. There's got to be the risk of tragedy in the middle of the English Channel. And that's why I think the Home Office and the French authorities need to work together to stop these craft putting off the coast of France in the first place, but also to find the trafficking network that's behind this, to put a stop to it and bring these people to justice.
The Home Secretary Sajid Javid says he's very concerned by the problem. The DUP leader Arlene Foster's accused Theresa May of giving up on getting a better Brexit deal. It comes as the Prime Minister visits Northern Ireland as part of a tour to sell her withdrawal agreement. Arlene Foster says the trip is a waste of time.
I think the disappointing thing for me is that the Prime Minister has given up, and she's saying this is where we are and we just have to accept that. But she may have given up on further negotiations and trying to find a better deal, but I haven't given up. I believe in a better way forward, and I believe we must find that.
Theresa May insists her deal protects the vital interests of the whole of the UK. A bus company's been fined almost £2.5 million after a driver crashed into a Sainsbury's store in Coventry, killing 2 people. Midland Red South, which ignored warnings about Kailash Chanda's abilities, admitted health and safety failings. The 80-year-old was diagnosed with dementia after the crash in 2015. A terminally ill man who wants medical assistance to end his life appears to have exhausted all legal avenues. Noel Conway, who has motor neurone disease, has had his case rejected by the Supreme Court. And politicians have reacted angrily after a no-show by Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg at a hearing in Parliament. Instead, the firm's Vice President of Policy appeared before the committee. The inquiry is looking at disinformation and fake news.
5 Live Breakfast.
Talking about reopening old wounds, Sam Burgess has made some interesting comments on Twitter this morning about his experience playing in the Rugby Union World Cup in 2015. I'm just digesting them. It was controversial, his inclusion at the time, if you remember. So much debate. I'd forgotten that almost the entire debate around England.
What's he said?
Give me a minute, all right? Because there's lots of it. No,
we want it now.
I'm going to go to Michelle first.
Breaking news.
Back to you.
Hi, Michelle. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Roll up. Roll up. We're going to have a debate about a debate.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah, sure.
What do you think?
Yeah, go with that.
5 Live Breakfast. Back tomorrow from 6. This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League.
With Mark Pugach.
That noise is the young boys, supporters all in yellow, as their team have come back out to warm down, accompanied by half a dozen mowers. They're loving it. They're out of Europe. They can't even make the Europa League, young boys, but they played well this evening. Manchester United have scraped through with Marion Fellaini's injury time winner. Means that United will definitely be in the last 16. They could still win the group. They'd have to win in Valencia in the Mestalla for that to happen. Paul Scholes has just said on television, I thought United were awful. If they play against a half-decent game, if they lose tonight, energy was lacking in every part of the pitch. I think he means if they play against a half-decent team. Energy was lacking in every part of the pitch. I feel sorry for young boys. If they had that bit of quality, they would have won that. Do you go along with Paul Scholes on that one? I thought they were awful, he said.
Yes. It's hard to argue, isn't it? They got in the end. They got the desired result. Performance-wise, it was what I think we pretty much expected from United. They've been disappointing all season. There has been the odd moment, but it just hasn't been good enough all season, and nothing changed this evening.
A lot of people saying on social media that Fellaini handled it on the way. Did you think that?
Well, as you know, we're a long way away where we are.
No,
I didn't think his arm seemed in an unnatural position. I think they're maybe clutching a little bit. I mean, I'll have to look back on the monitor later on tonight or whatever. But it didn't seem to me to be an obvious handball.
That's the voice of Chris Sutton, and Henry Winter, chief football writer for The Times, is with us. Henry, good evening. How are you?
Never in doubt that. That was a really poor Manchester United performance, rescued by Fellaini at the end. And I was slightly surprised that Fellaini was still on. You had him and Matic, these two great sort of lumbering giants in the middle of the park. And I know he'd sort of slightly moved wide, but I actually thought Fred had been playing well. Chris, I didn't hear your commentary because I couldn't get it down on the front row. He didn't travel that far. But I actually thought that Fred was was playing well, and then just to keep the two of them on, I thought it was slightly strange. But look, completely vindicated Mourinho. He's the expert, but Fellaini's rescued him again.
Sometimes, Chris, you have matches like this, even when you're playing well and you have to dig it out, and that's what they've done. But the problems run deeper than that, don't they? Because we saw this last Saturday against Crystal Palace, where they couldn't get any sort of winner at all. Do the problems run much deeper, do you feel?
Well, absolutely. I just think that that Mourinho, from virtually day one in pre-season, has called out his players. Has told them they're not good enough. The attack on the young players last week, completely unnecessary. Made a big decision, dropping his two big signings, Lukaku and Pogba tonight. We can't pretend that everything is going well here this season. It's not. We can't pretend it's all harmonious. It clearly isn't. And for a club Manchester United size, it's not good enough. You only had to see the empty seats tonight, which tells you what a lot of the fans are thinking, and they're quite right to think it.
Chris, what would you have done as a young player if you'd seen your manager react the way Mourinho did when Rashford went through and missed that early chance?
Do you want to describe what he did, Henry? He sort of... He didn't raise his eyes, did he? But he showed his disgust.
Yeah, he turned to the bench and sort of put both his arms out in a very questioning way, looking for answers. I can't think that sort of reaction absolutely helps a young player like Rashford. We've seen how well Rashford's been playing with England, with all that love around him from Southgate and from the team. That can't have helped. Sorry, Chris. Coming back to the original point, how would you have reacted to that as a player?
I mean, I clearly wouldn't have felt I had the support from my manager, and there was an occasion in the second half, the ball went into him on the edge of the box. I don't know whether you saw that, and Mourinho gestured to the bench. He's got to hold it in. He's called Rashford out, and Rashford doesn't have these problems with England. He feels loved. He doesn't feel loved in the United shirt.
And after Fellaini scored, Jose Mourinho turned around and he took it out on the water bottle carrier, didn't he? He picked it up and hurled it to the ground. I mean, jokes aside, Henry, that does show a level of, I suppose, of frustration, a little bit of a window into what's going on.
It showed a little bit of Pete Townsend, actually.
Yeah. It wasn't a television anyway, was it?
It wasn't a television, and it wasn't a guitar, no, but it was look, it just shows the pressure that managers are under. I think the fact that it was Fellaini who has taken so much criticism, and Mourinho, who likes his players by the yard, he likes his tall players, he's being vindicated there.
These 8 have qualified, by the way, with obviously the other 8 tomorrow night. Ajax, put my hand up in the air. I love to see Ajax back in there. We all love Ajax, so if you're of a certain age, which Henry and I are, love to see Ajax back in there. Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Roma, Barcelona, Man City, Real Madrid, Juventus, all roll on the new year already. It's before we've even got to tomorrow night, Henry. It's really shaping up.
Oh, it's brilliant. And as you say, Ajax, I mean, the strip, the ground, the history, the way they play, I think that if they get drawn against an English team, there'll be all their players, these young players they've got coming through. They keep on producing the Toekomst, the Dutch, for the future, that fantastic academy. I'm sure they'll be linked with the Premier League. It always happens, and another great Ajax team won't actually be allowed to flourish, which is sad in a way. We saw what they did under Van Gaal against AC Milan when Kluivert, came on as an 18-year-old. He rolled Baresi and scored in Vienna, and it's absolutely, just to see Ajax in there is good. And also it's a counterpoint. It just shows the game is not simply about money. Ajax may not get further, but and they may have their players plundered next summer, but at least they're producing them, at least they're going in about the right way. And couldn't Manchester United do with someone behind the scenes like Edwin van der Sar here, like as Ajax have?
We would say to Ajax fans, enjoy it, because remember, Monaco. Remember where they were a couple of years ago and where they are now, because plundered is an understatement what's happened to their team. Man City into the knockout stages, John Southall. Hey, is Lyon their bogey team? Do we have to say that?
Well, I think you do. They'll certainly be glad to see the back of them after losing back in September, and 2-2 here tonight. I have to say, City didn't play well tonight, especially in the first half. They were below par. They looked disjointed. They changed the formation. They played a 3 at the back, and Zinchenko pushed up into midfield. I wonder if they should have played Phil Foden and stuck with the 4 at the back, but we'll see what Pep Guardiola has to say about that. But it wasn't a great performance, and I'd say it's the worst that City have played since they played Lyon back in September, when they lost by 2-1. They could have been out of sight at half-time, Lyon. They missed a couple of really good chances. Former Man United player Memphis Depay will not want to watch the one he missed, and Cornet also missed a sitter, and it could have been 2-0. City at the end, their reaction was interesting. They looked pleased with a point, maybe relieved with a point as well. Pep Guardiola came on and congratulated every player, and they all went over to their fans in the top tier on the far side. So City will take a point here, certainly. They've got 10 points now, and they really from here should go on and win the group.
Kyle Walker has said there are still things we have to work on. It's completely different to the Premier League. Still things we need to be switched on to, but we're through, and hopefully we can get a good draw. I think Henry, it's more the point everybody else will want to avoid them, won't they? Let's be honest.
To avoid Manchester City?
Yes,
absolutely. Because even though they're going into the darkest months of the English League, the winter months, you look at that strength and depth. He can leave a player. If he wants to leave Sterling out, he's got Mahrez who can come in there. Actually, I think probably, apart from in goal, I think the one player that he might have trouble covering is Fernandinho in central midfield, who I think is absolutely superb for them, totally underrated, and I think they're missing when he's not there, because they don't really have a like-for-like replacement. Elsewhere they do.
And Henry, as you say, if you look at the players who are missing tonight, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Gabriel Jesus, Kevin De Bruyne, Benjamin Mendy, so to be where they are, they only had 19 players out here to choose from tonight, so it really wasn't a full-strength side by any stretch of the imagination.
What's Phil Foden thinking, though, Henry, now? Does he have to leave City, go on loan somewhere, do you think?
Do you know, a year ago I thought he probably would have to, but he seems to be getting more and more games. Look, he's training under the best manager in the world. I take your point, and you can see what's happened to Jadon Sancho. Yes. He's gone to Germany, he's playing regularly, he's picking up all these sort of plaudits, getting all the minutes on the pitch. I just think that Foden will play for them. I mean, just everyone around Guardiola, everyone at the club says this is an absolute talent. We're not going to let him go on loan because he's going to play more and more, and he could be a feature for the next 10 years.
Is he earmarked to replace David Silva in 18-24 months' time?
Well, I hear all these, the Stockport Iniesta and all these names that he gets called. He may well be earmarked. But how do you replace a player of David Silva's quality? Bernardo Silva supposedly doing that. So look, just let him be. We're fortunate from an English perspective, and Manchester City fans will say the same, to have a fantastic young talent who will come through, who will be a force for club and country for many years.
But surely, you're right. You see Sancho. Surely he wants the game time, and he wants it now. And if he can't, he's not. He played in the Community Shield, first game of the season, played very well, and I thought he would have had more games and he would have been trusted. And then with Pep talking him up this week, I thought, he was a certainty to start.
Yeah,
so
Chris, I agree with you, Chris, because last night, as you say, Pep Guardiola really bigged him up. He said he's definitely ready to start a game of this calibre. And I think all of us out here really thought he would play. He came on as a substitute against West Ham on Saturday, and he played well. And without the likes of Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan, it looked the perfect opportunity tonight to start him.
I think you should say that to Pep, John.
Let me go. Hold on.
Play four at the back and play Phil Foden in midfield.
Now listen, Pep.
I don't know how much experience you have, but let's go to Ali. Bruce Ford, who can tell us the rest of the scores this evening. I've been through who's qualified, Ali. What's happened tonight?
Yeah, well, just in terms of winning that group, Manchester City's last game, Mark, is at home to Hoffenheim in a couple of weeks' time. If they can just get a draw in that game, they'll win the group. The other spot in Group F is up for grabs because Shakhtar Donetsk managed to poach a 92nd minute winner away to Hoffenheim tonight. Tyson with his second goal of the game. They won 3-2 in Germany. It gives them a chance of going through with Manchester City, and it puts Lyon under pressure. So Lyon will start that final round of games on 7 points and Shakhtar on 5. But if Shakhtar can beat Lyon at home, it would be them who goes through. Juventus, as you mentioned, are through. One of the favourites, if not the favourites for this season's Champions League. A classic 1-0 victory at home. Cristiano Ronaldo created the goal with a little bit of magic, a step over in the box, a dart to the byline, and a lovely low ball in for Mario Mandzukic to score. Real Madrid really needed a win tonight, not in terms of the Champions League group, but after that awful defeat away to Eibar, they managed it with a 2-0 win away to Roma. Gareth Bale was on the score sheet. Real Madrid have won the group. Worst miss of the season, definitely in that game. One of the worst misses of all time. 0-0 just before half-time. Kennig Zunder for Roma. 2 yards out, open goal, somehow put it over the bar. You've got to check that miss out on social media.
I've had a look.
You've seen it?
It's a shocker. Absolute shocker.
Yeah, it is.
Even Chris Sutton, in the middle of his worst run at Chelsea, would have popped that in.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean, yes?
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
You've been sarcastic there. and who's Tyson?
Well, what are you calling him? Tyson?
Tyson. That's what most people would call him.
You're always having
going
to go back
into
on the pronunciation.
Benjamin
Mendy.
Henry, you know they're the odd couple, these two, don't you?
Yeah.
Very odd.
Yeah.
Just to finish, can I finish?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you very much. Bayern Munich and Ajax are through in Group E. Bayern with a thumping home win over Benfica. Arjen Robben got 2. Robert Lewandowski has joined the 50s club in the Champions League. 2 tonight puts him on 51 goals in very select company, and Frank Ribery scored as well. Ajax had a win in the early kick-off in the Tuesday night's games, 2-0 away to AEK Athens. As you were saying, Mark, brilliant to see them back. It's the first time they're going to be in the knockout stages for 13 years in the Champions League. The sort of downside, the bad news about that game was quite a lot of crowd trouble at it before the game and at half-time. Some really nasty pictures, actually, of fans with sort of blood streaming down their faces. I think flares thrown into the away end. So UEFA are seriously going to have to look at that. But as you say, on the footballing side, good to see Ajax back in the knockout stages.
Thank you very much, Ali. Great club, even better shirts. Marion Fellaini has said, for me, it was not handball. I controlled the ball. If it touched my hand, it was not on purpose. It's good for confidence to qualify. So we've cleared that one up. Henry and Chris on Liverpool and Tottenham after we have heard from John Murray in the French capital ahead of PSG against Liverpool.
It is a rather damp Paris outside, but we're inside within the Parc des Princes. We're actually in the press conference room, the very impressive blue and red seats of the Paris Saint-Germain press conference room with all its subdued lighting. And we've been listening to both Thomas Tuchel, the Paris Saint-Germain coach, and also Jurgen Klopp as well. And listening to them with me was Paul Joyce, the Northern football correspondent of the Times. We're going to hear from them both, Paul, but I just think it's set up so well, isn't it? From a neutral point of view, in fact, I think from any point of view, it is really set up superbly for tomorrow.
Yes, it's a mouth-watering game, and I think what was interesting that both managers wanted to sort of underline how the other side should fear their team. I think it was quite unusual, I thought, for Tuchel to announce that Neymar and Mbappe would be fit and would play. At the press conference at Anfield earlier in the season, he was very reluctant to give any team information. And I think obviously he's trying to sort of always put the frighteners on Liverpool a little bit, and then Klopp in kind responds to that by saying, you know, PSG should fear us as well, really. So the managers are sort of setting up a sort of titanic battle tomorrow night.
Just to make it clear, and it can be quite complicated tomorrow night with the various permutations. Remember, there are 2 matches for each team to play in this group, but from a Liverpool point of view, if they win, will have qualified for the last 16 as long as Napoli also get a result. That's a win or a draw against Red Star Belgrade. Let's have a listen to Jurgen Klopp then. This is what he said about how he sees it.
It's a difficult one, and now we are here, and we never moaned about it. We didn't even think negatively about it. We were looking forward to the game in Paris. The more difficult it is, the more I enjoy the preparation, just because you have to think about pretty much everything, and not it's like you have to think about how to defend this and that, how to avoid this and that, how to play football by yourself, because that's the big, most important thing, and probably the thing which Paris is not used to that much in the league, because they are so dominant and we have to make sure that they are not that dominant against us, that we have our possession and we do something smart with that. Hopefully we can see that tomorrow night.
When you are preparing for a match like this with the individual talents that you'll face, how much concentration do you put on those talents?
It's much more difficult to prepare a game where my players don't know the opponents, which happens from time to time. And we give the boys always videos, individual videos from players, like, is he going more on the right side, left side, stuff like that. For this generation of players, watch probably 500,000 YouTube videos of Mbappe and Neymar and Cavani and all that stuff. So it's not that important. They know more about these players and individual strengths than I do. But the thing in football is they only can shine when you get the ball. You have to be brave by yourself, and that's what we did in the first game. That was we were so attacking minded, even in our defending. It was we were constantly front-footed, really stepping in and winning the ball back and all that stuff. It's difficult then to play. We don't talk about it. I'm completely happy with our individual quality, but I believe 100% in the group.
That's tomorrow night then. John Murray in the French capital for PSG against Liverpool. Henry Winter and Chris Sutton are with me. Henry, first things first. And he says it as well, Klopp. It's great that Mbappe and Neymar are fit. I think we probably thought they would be. They came off at friendlies during International Week last week. But that's what we want to see. PSG at their best. We don't get challenged in the French League. They're 15 points clear already against Liverpool. How do you see it going?
Well, I don't know completely the Liverpool team, but if Trent Alexander-Arnold's education could well continue if he's up against Neymar again, I think that's absolutely fantastic. Coming back to Chris's point about Foden and sort of young English players playing, I mean, it's brilliant for him. And what I like about Alexander-Arnold, nothing seems to faze him. You know, he's played against Ronaldo. He's played against, he had that game against Sane when Manchester City targeted him last season after Rashford had that very good game against him, and he stood up to it. So I think it's fantastic. You know, from looking at from an English perspective as well as a club perspective, I just think it's great just seeing these young players coming through and fullbacks for Liverpool. I mean, the forwards rightly take all the attention, Salah and everyone, but Robertson's been probably one of the most consistent left backs in Europe in the last 18 months. He's been outstanding. Alexander-Arnold is a fantastic talent. Gomez can play right back as well if they need it. So honestly, I just think it's so set up. And what I love listening to Klopp is that he's fearless. He goes there. He probably wants all those star players to be lined up against his team. Yeah, and as he made the point, all these young players, they know the opposition because they play FIFA. They know all their strengths. They watch all the YouTube. They've got all the clips. He almost doesn't really need to tell them exactly how Neymar sort of cuts in.
I think it suits Liverpool when sides want to go toe-to-toe with them. They've got so much pace going forward, and I'm still not sure. I mean, I never am sure about PSG and their backline, and every season I think the same. I'm not so sure their backline can win them the Champions League. I think that they will suit Liverpool, but this is what the Champions League is all about, isn't it? And in the group stage, two massive clubs going toe-to-toe. I fancy Liverpool, but this is a game where the score could be anything. PSG could win, by a big margin. Liverpool could win. You just can't call this one.
But you wouldn't expect PSG to win by a big margin now, would you, Chris? Because
but they have the talent.
But the reason that Liverpool are where they are this season, it's because they are a completely different team defensively, aren't they? Because he did 5 goals, same amount in the league as Man City.
Yeah, and that's the Van Dijk effect, the impact which he's made. I think the goalkeeper is an upgrade. But still, I don't know what Henry thinks. I still don't feel Liverpool have clicked yet, and when they do, that's ominous. And people are saying, well, Manchester City are streaks ahead of everybody, and I think performance-wise, in fairness, this season they are. But the likes of Liverpool, when they do click, they're going to give them a run for the money.
But have they not clicked entirely because they've had to do a little bit more defensively? Do you inevitably lose a little bit in attacking sense if you need to be better defensively?
I just think that they are doing it in a different way and maybe conserving a bit more energy rather than sort of all the blood and thunder of the early days of Klopp. He's being a little bit more streetwise, a bit more pragmatic. And winning games a different way. But there's more to come. I'm absolutely convinced of that.
Henry, we want to hear from Jose Mourinho before we go off air. Tottenham have got to be Inter Milan tomorrow night. Tottenham played outstandingly well against Chelsea. If they can channel that Chelsea display, they've got every chance, haven't they?
Well, absolutely. I mean, everyone's saying, when are they going to have the dip after the World Cup? They're World Cup players. It doesn't look like it with Harry Kane. Dele Alli's coming back into form. They've got Ericsson. I think, Sissoko, who's had criticism down the years, he's just been, a font of energy for them as well. So absolutely, I expect them to absolutely win that tomorrow.
And then take it all the way to the Nou Camp, and then who knows?
Oh,
well, you can probably guess, but who knows?
what a night that is going to be. But that's, if you are a player, obviously Chris has played. I mean, those sort of fixtures, that must be absolutely what you want to do. Whether you're a journalist, you want to be writing for the best papers, going to the best game, covering the best games. I imagine as a player as well, going to the Nou Camp is just what it's all about.
Well, I drew there twice with Celtic. We never got in Barcelona's half, mind, but that didn't matter.
But you managed to draw.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's all about the result.
It's all about the result. That's what Jose Mourinho would say after Marouane Fellaini's stoppage time winner, enough to beat Young Boys United into the knockout stages. Let's hear how the Manchester United manager is feeling after that.
Relief, frustration before that, and relief with the goal. I think we didn't play for that. We didn't play for 0-0. We didn't play to be in trouble until the last minute. So frustration. I was not unhappy with the players, not at all. Frustrated with the fact that we couldn't score, yes. But my players were very tired in the end, and that's what I love. I want them to be very tired, means that they give everything, and they did that with moments of very good football, moments of quality, moments of hypothetical beautiful goals, and then also with moments of pressure, moments of lack of confidence that frustrate us. But in the end, we score. I have to reunite the goal we score with David's save. I think without David's save, no winning goal. But in the end, we qualify in a very difficult group with one match in hand, suffering a lot, but we did it.
He talks about the save there, De Gea. He says he's the best goalkeeper in the world. By the way, Alexis Sanchez, not injured, just left out. And on his reaction to Rashford missing, he said, Mourinho, I can never blame a player for missing chances. Can a manager have a reaction of frustration? I would invite those people to sit on the bench as manager, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, but it's wrong. He can say what he likes, but I mean that's not going to have a positive effect on Marcus Rashford when he sees it on the television later, is it?
What exactly are hypothetical beautiful goals when they're at home? It sounds like an avant-garde album from the 70s. It's weird. I mean, is that fantasy football?
They're through, Henry. How does this story end? How does the Manchester United Jose Mourinho story end?
I imagine they may move him on next summer.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah,
thank you. Thank you, everybody. Manchester City through, Manchester United through, PSG Liverpool tomorrow, Tottenham Inter Milan, and Phil Williams right now.